Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday, we are going to get you halfway through this beautiful week. Beautiful weather. Was out with baby Stiles for 2 hours yesterday, Chris, at the park.
Beautiful.
It was great stuff. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate behind the glass for us today. Coming off, I would say, one of our most electric shows we've had. I mean, we are approaching the 1 year mark. And if you've been rocking with us since day one, we really do appreciate it. You know, we are a bit of a grassroots show, if you will. We are the youngest sports show in all of California.
You could probably just say show.
Yeah, probably, as far as, you know, the local shows and radio and things like that. So it's been quite the ride so far, but Chris and I are just getting started. We have to look if there's like a landmark, what you know, when we get to show 100 or whatever it is, but we've definitely
it's probably already blown past.
Probably. We'll have to look for 200.
Yeah.
But we appreciate everybody rocking with us as we approach our 1 year mark, and we are just getting started. With that being said, Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, the weather's starting to feel a little bit better. Still not quite fall weather, but it's glad that you can take your kid out and enjoy Sacramento and all that stuff. This is when it starts to get real pretty too. The fall, as fall happens, obviously.
Yeah.
Tons of trees around here, so you're about to get like the nicest aesthetic of Sacramento here coming up in the next couple weeks.
There you go. It is beautiful stuff there. And what also will be beautiful, it will be inside, but the Thunder Showdown, hang out with myself and Nate if you can find us. Chris, we're trying to convince Chris to go. We're trying to convince Whitey to go. I got a buddy coming as well. The Thunder Showdown with Amari Jones, undefeated, the champ. He will be at Thunder Valley September 21st. Yesterday, the tickets went like hotcakes, so you do not want to miss out on that. We will be doing that at 1 p.m. So we have plenty to get into today, and in the last hour of the show, we will give away those tickets. Can I start the show?
Please.
And just by being a parent, because I do think that you will find this pretty darn funny.
Okay.
So, you know, baby Stiles, toddler Stiles just doesn't hit the same. We're going to continue to call her baby Stiles, but she is a toddler. Because you know you have a toddler when you see a baby and you think,
she's not that anymore.
No, there was a baby on the plane.
That was a long time ago.
When we came back, when there was a baby on the plane when we came back, I thought, that's a baby. We have an actual child now. But she's doing this thing. She's getting closer to putting sentences together, but she's not there yet. So basically, anytime she cries or she's trying to figure out something, you know, this is worse to me. A lot of people have said this is actually worse than the Terrible Twos because they can't tell you what they want. Right. It's just what's ailing you, little buddy? You know, you're just yelling. So a lot of times my wife will say, I know, honey, I know. So she's taken that and she has connected that with when I'm in pain or when I'm annoyed or upset to say, I know. So she'll cry. She'll be like, I know. She'll just say that. And I've been trying to get it recorded. I whip out the phone every single time and I haven't caught it yet, but I had to share that with you because it's ridiculous.
So
it gets
cute.
me every time. She's like, I know. I know. What are you talking about? So that's good stuff there. And
that's gonna go viral. So
I have to catch it. And so I got in trouble because she was already crying.
She's crying and you're like, yes.
So basically she was crying and instead of helping her, I was trying to keep her crying so I could record it. My wife said, really? Once we got to the 5-minute mark and she didn't do it, I even started saying, I know, and she wasn't doing it. And I got to a point where my wife she's
not a zoo animal.
Yeah.
You know?
Can you just get her what she wants? Can you do something that actually helps? So.
Yeah. Instead of just putting the camera in her face and saying perform.
Yeah. Perform, please. Well, come on. These impressions aren't going to pay itself. Please. Speaking of, I know everybody watched the Jets and Niners, but did you know that everyone apparently in the USA watched it? Monday night's Jets 49ers game averaged 20.5 million viewers, making it Monday Night Football's second most watched week 1 matchup in ESPN's 19-season history of airing Monday Night Football. And I found this interesting, Chris, because a lot of people, and we haven't talked about this for a while. I do think I don't think funny is the correct term, but we had the whole situation with the CTE and all the talk about concussions, and Will Smith comes out, and according to Jada, tell the truth. And he gets, snubbed according to Jada as far as his movie. It was a great movie. Right. Everybody is saying football is dying, right? Flag football is on the rise and this and that. But then stuff like this comes out, and there's more numbers from the whole week with what the Ravens and Chiefs did. And it just made me think, was that just a blip in time? Was that ever true? Did people forget about it? Football seems to be stronger than ever before.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I definitely think in terms of like the watching part of it, I think that was definitely overblown. In the moment, it didn't feel, at least to me, like it was overblown. It really felt like there was a real shift happening. And I mean, I guess it has. We see the Guardian helmets. We see, guys like Bosa and Kittle out here wearing helmets that look, a little bit strange and things like that.
Astronauts.
In the name of safety, though. And so I think maybe the game has just gotten to a point where they've evolved the technology to where, I mean, it's still, concussions obviously still happen, but it seems as if it's at a less frequent rate than what it was previously. But I mean, those issues still definitely exist. And I think, you have a daughter, but I think there's a lot of people who have to consciously make the decision with their sons, like, am I going to allow my kid to play football? I really think that's an active decision that a lot of parents have to make. And I think what's changed is I do think just in general, a lot of parents have just straight diverted their kids from that route. But I think there still is a large portion of people out there who love the sport of football. And, there's nothing wrong with letting your kids play, especially if they love the sport. But I think that there's just been a decision now where it's not just a casual, freshman football, you're definitely going to go out there because it's a good opportunity to make friends. I think now you just start to see, as they have really, I say freshman football programs really don't exist as nearly as prevalently as they were even when I was in high school 10 years ago. There's just really JV programs with a lot of schools nowadays. I think that's really where you've seen the impact of all that stuff that's going on. But at that time, if you were to ask me, again, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when all the concussion stuff was going on and was really prevalent, will football still be the king that it is in that moment? I probably would have said no, or at least it's the gap is going to be shrunken pretty significantly. And as we see here today, I mean, it's still number one, and there's not really a close number two.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating because I think you're probably right in that I know a lot of people have at least moved to you're not playing tackle until high school.
Exactly.
Right. We've at least seen that. So it is possible that there might be less kids playing tackle, but in a weird way, that is completely separate from the fact that the watching of football has grown, which you would think that it is all connected, but it's not. The spectacle of somebody getting a concussion has not turned people,
or even the DeMar Hamlin
thing, right? The idea of getting a concussion has not turned people off from the spectacle of watching someone get a concussion, which I do find a little bit confusing.
But
a little bit confusing. But yeah, the numbers are the numbers. The Niners and the Jets really showed out. I think people love watching, and that's another thing. The Aaron Rodgers documentary that's coming out. I won't be watching it, but I'm sure a lot of people will be watching it. And it's not just, it's not even just the NFL, right? And I was going to ask you because, and honestly, the listeners that we have, because we know we have a pretty strong base as far as the college football ranks. This is from Saturday. Texas, Michigan averaged 9.35 million viewers on Fox, the most watched college football game of the 2024 season so far. Obviously, it's early in the season, but it feels like even college football has more of a buzz. And it's not just Shador and Colorado. It feels like, you know what? I know this is, and I hate this term because I think it's terribly overblown. But they say 8,000 teams need to be good, and it's good for the league. And they do this in basketball, too. Hey, when the Knicks are good, it's good for basketball. Hey, when the Raiders are good, it's good for football. Hey, when the New York Giants are good. They do this for everyone, but I truly do think, and the picture here is Quinn Ewers in front of Front Office Sports. Sure. I do think a true situation is when Texas is good at football, that actually is good for college football.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a real one.
Yeah,
that's a real one.
That is a pipeline and a half. Like
Yeah.
if you have Texas involved, obviously Texas high school football is on a different level that maybe only Florida can combat. But yeah, when Texas is good, and you can maybe even throw Florida, UF into that.
Yeah.
When those two teams are good, I mean, it does feel like there's just a different buzz. There's a different level of hype. It feels like it's like when the Knicks are good at basketball. It just feels like the sport is kind of.
I'm fine with. That one I'm fine with.
Okay,
But
some of them are definitely wild, right? Yes. Like when the Miami Heat are good, that's good. It's or whatever.
I mean, could you make the argument? I mean, and I'm not trying to get anybody going here, but the Raiders haven't been good for a very long time, and the NFL has been fine. So I don't even know that I am still putting the Raiders there.
No,
I think
it would be good for football, but I don't think they're saying. I mean, football doesn't need anybody.
Big brands. When big brands are good, it's good for the league. So there's no surprise there.
The video game helped too, I think.
Oh yeah, NCAA.
I really do think that.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. So, all right, on today's show, we will talk about the NBA free agents. That's coming up at 10:30. We have DeMar DeRozan is doing his tour right now. Obviously, he loves talking about mental health. He's been on. We have sound for him from First Take. He was with friend of the station, Sam Amick. We have Peter Schrager on the 49ers, and are they still the top of the NFC? Brock for MVP. Okay, we have some numbers that support it. Will this year be the year? Can he hang on? He was close last season. Can he get it done? And we talk about the NFL teams in the worst situation after week 1 and just in general. But coming up when we return, Kyle Shanahan, enough now. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business. Sure can. And the quality is guaranteed? Absolutely. Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right? For sure. How about this one? We'll beat it. Can you print menus, signs, and flyers? Sure can. How about blueprints? No problem. What about red prints? Not a real thing. What if they were? We'd print them. And they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's majestic golden eagles and other less majestic birds taunting you through the baseball-sized hole in your new windows. It's soaring guitar solos performed through faulty wiring in your garage, which subsequently erupts into flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
It's the home opener for Sacramento State Hornets this Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff versus Nichols. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
One o'clock. Into boxing. Into fur coats. I'll be there. Nate'll be there.
I think you gaslit me into going because I wasn't like locked in on anything, but I guess I'll go.
You just want to see me there looking like Frank Lucas. That's what you want.
I want to see you throwing the ball on the spinner. What is that thing called? On the roulette table?
Well, first of all, we can't do that.
Dude, you're Alan Stiles.
No, actually in California, you can't even do that.
Oh, wow.
I'll show you. It looks like Wheel of Fortune. It's fun. We will have a good time, and you will have a good time. You know where to. Nate just said where you can find us. Okay, so 1 o'clock, free tickets, slide through, ribeyes on Nate. As we get into
after it hits on black,
what Kyle Shanahan had to say. And guys, I'm so tired of this. Okay, so Chris found the note that Christian McCaffrey had, where he said if there was a game, and what was that, Chris, 2 weeks ago, where Christian McCaffrey said if there was a game today, essentially, I would play. Well, Christian McCaffrey doesn't play, and 2 weeks later, Christian McCaffrey doesn't play, and it doesn't look like he's going to play 3 weeks later against the Minnesota Vikings. Kyle Shanahan comes out yesterday, guys, and he says, I believe if it was a playoff game, he would have played. Can we stop? Enough. Why even bother saying this? You know what it's going to be next? Well, if it was the last carry in the Super Bowl, then Christian would carry the football. Why even say this? Just let that man heal. We'll see you when we see you.
Yeah.
Why? You've already moved. You've already pushed this thing out multiple times. Oh, if it's a pale, what is the point of saying this?
I have no idea. I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, I don't even know if it's true because, I understand there's obviously a difference between the playoff games and regular season games, but I just don't really see what the benefit is of him coming out and saying that. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it's what are we supposed? It definitely fits into the category of what exactly are we supposed to do with this, because it isn't, and his team is still going to go out there and play. So I really don't know what to do with that.
Well, it's almost as if we'd be willing to risk his career if it was a playoff game. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand that. It's just, that there is a certain risk reward, and the risk reward doesn't really fit this particular game. And maybe they just feel like, and they probably rightfully do feel like, they can beat the Minnesota Vikings without Christian McCaffrey. I mean, they just beat a Jets team that definitely projects to be a lot better than Minnesota pretty handily, granted at home, but I would think that, maybe they're just feeling like Minnesota isn't necessarily a team where you need to have a Christian McCaffrey in order to win. And maybe that's his way of saying it without kind of insulting the Vikings, I guess. But I think it's message received.
I'm looking here. They just played the Jets. They get Vikings, Rams, and Rams without Puka. I think and it's not that it makes a difference because they're in LA, but that's basically a home game for the Niners. Yeah. So it's at Vikings. They actually haven't played that well in Minnesota. I don't know if you saw that stat, but at Vikings, at Rams, and then they host the Patriots, then they host the Cardinals, then they go to Seattle. It makes a lot of sense. A lot of Niner fans are saying you shouldn't play Christian McCaffrey until that Chiefs game, October 20th. And
that's week 6.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. Looking at the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I think, again,
it's week 7.
Week 7 even. Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, I guess the argument is that there's a couple division games in there. And, of course, division games kind of do carry a bit extra weight because, you're still trying to, even though the Niners should run away with it, you still want to make sure you're getting all of those divisional tiebreakers situated and things like that. Week 3, I mean, if he is apparently healthy enough to play football but not maybe go out there for a game, I would think that giving him 2 weeks in preparation will at least have him feeling as healthy as you can. I guess the problem with this that we just don't know is this a recovery issue? Is the problem that, okay, he's fine to run on it, but the problem is the next day he really starts to feel it, or is it he's in perpetual pain? That's kind of the part that we don't really know, and that, to me, is what I would guess would determine overall when he is available to go. But it makes sense from a strategic standpoint to, sit him out as long as you can if you don't feel like you need him. And if Jordan Mason's going to keep running the way he did on Monday, why rush him back?
Yeah. Nate, how you feeling about this?
I understand where you're coming from, both of you. Just Kyle Shanahan saying that. I also understand what Kyle Shanahan is saying. I think he's trying to calm the storm because the McCaffrey thing came out of left field for everyone on Monday night, right? Like it was a couple hours before the game. I didn't even know. When I heard, I thought it was a joke. I heard it kind of late actually. So I understand that it's very similar to what happened with Kevin Durant when he was with the Warriors, right? It's like, okay, it was the finals where he tore his, right?
Yes.
Or did they, it was like game 3
he was
something.
In and out and then tried to come back in the finals and then it popped.
Yeah, so I feel like this situation draws very similar parallels to that in the fact that like, if it was do or die, I believe I would let Christian risk himself because I'm sure Christian was down to play, right? Like McCaffrey was going to play in his mind. Like no one's telling a player no, like players are going to go if they're allowed to. It's the people around them stopping them, right? So this quote doesn't really bother me that much, but yeah, it is a little unnecessary from our point of view. But I think maybe Shanahan's seeing it as like, yo, everyone chill out. Like I think he's going to be okay.
I think that just puts more pressure on him though to play because then you do what we're doing, where it's like, okay, well, you said he was ready to go, but now if they do hold him out 6 weeks, well, I thought he was healthy enough. So
but he's almost hedging his bet by saying if it were a playoff game.
I think it's putting more pressure on him to play though, because it's making him sound like he's more ready to go than what maybe he actually is. Or it just complicates the situation unnecessarily, I think. Because again, it makes everybody think, okay, well, if he can play, but it's just not important enough of a game for him to play, well then that kind of sounds like he should be ready by maybe not this week, but then next week he should definitely be ready.
Yeah, it's just not an update, right? But he covers himself because none of these games until January are playoff games. So he can say, well, none of these games are playoff games. Right. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The way the Niners looked, unless they lose to the Vikings, I am kind of on the train with the other kind of Niners fans that have been out there. I would see where he's at October 20th.
Yeah, yes.
What's the point?
What's the point? Yeah.
I've been looking, obviously everyone becomes a medical expert on a certain subject once it comes out. And Alan, I mean, you said you haven't had Achilles tendonitis.
No, mine just went bye-bye.
Yeah, it went bye-bye. So from what I understand, the tendonitis can lead to that, and it's a slow burn, slow process to get healed from everything that's kind of coming out. So yeah, keep him. The schedule to start the season for the 49ers ain't that bad.
It's soft.
Starting 6-0 is very realistic for the 49ers.
Without McCaffrey.
Yeah, yes. It's definitely on the table. No doubt in my mind, especially Jordan Mason's going to play like that every game. He's not going to have 150 yards every game. He might have a 70-yarder, 80-yarder, and maybe drop a couple passes or something, maybe a fumble here and there. But just so you know, the Niners play at the Vikings, at the Rams. At the Rams is practically a home game. Then they are home for New England, home for the Cardinals, at Seattle, and then week 7 is where it gets kind of insane. That Seattle game is Thursday Night Football. Then after that Seattle game, you get Chiefs, Dallas, Bucks.
That's kind of it's not, and I don't even know how much of a gauntlet that is because you get the Chiefs and the Cowboys, which is in theory tough. The Niners seem to own the Cowboys.
Yeah, in theory, yeah.
Then, regular season also doesn't matter. Right. The important thing is having Christian McCaffrey healthy in the playoffs and at the Super Bowl. So it really doesn't matter if he misses the first 6 weeks as long as he's there for the last 6.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. And you need to know, like that's the whole thing. Coming from somebody who went the whole way and tore it, you need to know.
All the way.
Well, I went all the way. If I do something, I'm going to do it
right.
Yeah, like, do it then. We do it then.
Coming off.
Sean, I do it. I tear it, right? So you have to know if you're McCaffrey, and this is one thing that I learned, not that I'm a high-level athlete, but when you saw the Jamal Murray stuff, right, and he can go, but mentally, where is he at? Mm-hmm. Klay Thompson, you're good to go.
Right.
There is a mental side of it, and no, Christian McCaffrey hasn't tore it. This actually, guys, honestly, this might be. It's almost like he's got a certain mileage.
Oh, it's terrible.
Right? It's like he's got a certain gas in his gas tank, and he's just trying to figure out: 100%. Is my gas going to go back up?
Right.
Or do I just have a certain amount of gas?
Right. Because sometimes you turn off that car, and it's like I just got 20 more miles out of nowhere.
Exactly to your guys' point. I haven't seen anyone bring this up. When Richard Sherman tore his Achilles pre-Niners, he was like, I know it's going to go soon, and it's just going to go. He's describing it the same way you guys are. Yeah. Like, the gas doesn't fill back up. It just goes down, and you're deciding how much time you want to use, how much gas you want to use before it pops. Richard Sherman clearly, he's been here, done that, so that's the only way I've seen it described similar to what you guys are saying.
And I think what came out, we got to get to it on the other side, but I'm pretty sure what came out, and Nate, you might know this better than us, I'm pretty sure Dre Greenlaw was dealing with Achilles ish. It wasn't random.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that also wasn't random. We'll confirm that on the other side. But we also are going to get to some NBA. It's been a lot of NFL talk. We get it. It's that time of year. But there are still some free agents out there. Any interest, you Kings fans? Meanwhile, Jae Crowder working out with the Sacramento Kings. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
I've always believed that golf is more than just a game. It embodies integrity, commitment, and a sense of style. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa, and I'd like to tell you a bit about Naturewood Home Furnishings, a business that shares these same values. With the Procore Championship Professional Golf Tournament happening at the stunning Silverado Resort in Napa, I couldn't help but notice the parallels. Just like the game of golf, Naturewood has built its reputation on integrity, commitment, and timeless style. Looking to bring a unique style into your home? Naturewood offers custom certified designers who can help you craft the perfect look tailored just for you. And while you're enjoying the elegance of the tournament this week, along with Napa's world-class wine and food, be sure to visit Naturewood Home Furnishings. You'll discover pieces with the same sophistication and quality as the game itself. Who knows? You might even find an heirloom that will be passed down for generations. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Just look for the water wheel.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park for Country in the Park 2. What was I thinking? He's bringing some friends. Carmelie.
Close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich. Dasha. And more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise Guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT. It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers. We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges out of respect. We do good deeds for free for our customers and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect. So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you. Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
I had a feeling that I had either read or heard about Dre Greenlaw, and it is true. Covered, and Nate made a good point on this one, covered in all of the other players not playing Week 18 because the Niners were already in a great position. Dre Greenlaw missed Week 18 against the Rams with Achilles tendonitis and was still dealing with it leading up to the NFC divisional round win against the Green Bay Packers. So there you have it. Obviously, there are different levels to everything, but just to put it in perspective, that's another guy who had Achilles tendonitis, and we watched literally over and over again, we watched what happened. That's not to say that same thing would happen to Christian McCaffrey, but I have said this, guys, and we'll get to the Kings right after this. There are two theories, essentially, and I'm no doctor, but there are two theories when I've talked with other washed athletes about tearing their Achilles. There's two theories. The first theory is when you pull something, right, or tear something, what's the first thing somebody says? Well, did you stretch, right?
Yeah.
Did you stretch? Did you do what you were supposed to do? First theory is if you stretch, if you do whatever you need to do, you should be okay, or you'd put yourself in a better position to not tear something. And this is also something I talked about with my physical therapist. The second theory is that no matter what you do, everyone's Achilles have a certain mileage amount.
It's a ticking time
bomb. A ticking time bomb, and it really just, whatever it is for everybody, you're going to figure it out, right? LeBron James, Steph Curry, those guys seem to have a really long mileage, right? You think about it, a lot of these guys that tear it in the NBA, NFL, you think they're not stretching? So that's always been my way to kind of debunk it. Obviously, stretching helps.
Right.
But if these athletes are tearing it at the highest level, it's not because they're not stretching it. Real quick, we'll go to the Kings after this, but Nate found that Richard Sherman audio on his situation, how kind of felt like it was going to go, and then it went.
Just to preface this, too, this is the post game right after it happened. He crutched up to the.
I remember this.
Yeah, so here it is.
I knew what was happening. I mean, it's been bothering me all season. So, it's one of them things you just have to play through as long as you can, and then, when it goes, it goes.
Terrible.
When it goes,
that's not what you want to hear.
We don't know, but that's the thing. There are levels, and there's random Twitter people, just like us saying, I have Achilles tendonitis and I still play, but it is tough, and you just never know. Every situation is different, but with Christian McCaffrey in that position, specifically in that sport,
no thanks.
It's going to be tough to call. So the Niners are eventually going to have to play him, but I think Chris and I are on the same page here. Just play him at the Chiefs. I just put him on the shelf. You don't need him. Jordan Mason is good. I think a lot of people are even higher on Isaac Orlando as well, who we haven't even seen yet. But Jordan Mason is a baller. Let him cook, and we go from there. All right, let's get into a little bit of Kings talk. A quick respite from the NFL. A little bit of Kings talk as we discussed yesterday, and I was very excited for Jae Crowder. No clue if he will actually be with the team. It's been really tough for him to really get time for his last two spots. Didn't get a lot of time in, Phoenix, and then hasn't gotten a lot of time in Milwaukee, and now he's trying to find his way somewhere. I think it's always a little bit worrisome if everyone isn't knocking down the door for this guy, how much do we think he's going to help? But I think personally, guys, for a team based on last year with JaVale McGee, what he had to say on these here airwaves, I think from an off-course perspective, to get a DeMar DeRozan who is going to bring that veteran mentality of wanting to win and things like that, and then to bring in somebody like a Jae Crowder, just going to bring a little bit more chippiness. Can't get my Markieff Morris or whichever one of the Morris twins, Marcus Morris, they're gone. So I'll take Jae Crowder just to add to the dogness, Chris. But on top of Jae Crowder, there are some other free agents that you have that are still available for all teams, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the Jae Crowder look is at least in the right direction. Again, I said it yesterday. I mean, I think it would have been a lot nicer of a piece and a lot more exciting of a piece if it would have been from a couple years ago, but he's still a functional NBA player. It's just not somebody that I would think, if we're talking about the Kings playoff rotation, he's somebody who's on the fringes. And so that's where it's just, I think he's kind of past his days of being a high level 20 plus minute per game playoff guy. I think in the regular season, you could probably still get away with playing him as much as you want because of the things you listed. I mean, he's incredibly physical. He's a dog. He definitely is somebody who's going to bring a certain level of edge and physicality to this team, which we know they desperately need. And you and I have both desperately wanted them to get a little bit of some Jae Crowder in them. And so I think it would be a good addition in that sense. But I think there are some better players out there that the Kings could potentially add. Again, Jay's fine, and if he hits his threes, honestly, that's the thing that keeps him on the floor. But if he's not, then it's really tough to find minutes for him, and that's just kind of the reality of the NBA in general today anyway. But some names that stuck out to me amongst the remaining free agents, actually, funny enough, Cedi Osman signed overseas last week, and so that's a name that's now off the board that a lot of people were really excited about.
What do you think happened there, real quick? Because
I would just
that
guess
was the name.
It's not the money. Yeah, I would guess that he probably gets more money and a bigger role overseas, and I think he probably was sick and tired of waiting around for a call. I think the Lakers kicked the tires on him, and he told them that he was going overseas. So I think that's kind of how that situation ended up panning out. I would, again, just assume that it was, he's not going to sit around and wait for a call when, there's other teams out there that are going to offer him money and give him a really big role that he won't have here in the NBA. But some names that stick out to me still for remaining free agents. Juan Toscano-Anderson still sitting out there. JTA, again, it's not like he's going to be a super impact player, but at least we know Mike Brown knows him, trusts him. We know exactly what he is. I don't think there's any illusion that JTA is going to come in here and, be a high-level scorer or anything. I think he knows exactly who he is and what he fits. And I think Mike Brown obviously has a good idea of how he wants to utilize him. Be interesting to see if JTA could get a bigger role, actually be here for a training camp, and maybe see if he could have an impact. Doug McDermott's a name that I just continue to shout out more so because of his off-the-floor relationship with Sabonis and Kevin Huerter. Landry Shamet's a name that excites me. I like him as a 3-and-D guy. Was really prominent early in his career as a 3-and-D player, but kind of hasn't been able to find any sort of comfort in a home since really his early Clipper days. And then Robert Covington, Jae Crowder and Robert Covington, kind of in the same basket of those guys would have been a lot better a couple of years ago. But I do think they bring a veteran edge, some defense, and if they can knock down their shot at a pretty good rate, I mean, I think those guys can really make a big impact. And, we still are really just looking at the wing positions. And I think those are really the biggest impact players that are still out there.
A name that is interesting to me, Chris, and look, maybe I'm being prisoner of the game, but a name that obviously, if you're on this list, teams haven't been, busting the door down, but he's a younger guy. He played well when the Kings almost blew it against the Pistons. I would take a look at Isaiah Livers. He's 6'6", power forward, small forward type position. He's out of Michigan. He shoots at 35.8% from 3-point range. He hit a couple against the Kings. He's 26 years old. Again, none of these guys are necessarily going to set the world on fire, but, just looking at the certain positions and what you've seen, I think he's a name that would be, if all the other names are guys that we've seen that movie before, I do think that, getting drafted in the 2021 draft, I mean, he hasn't had a lot of time, and maybe there's a reason for that. Because if you can't get time on the Pistons, I guess it's not a great look, but that's somebody that would interest me as well.
Yeah, I think he's a decent player. I mean, there's still some names out there. JaVale is still floating around.
Man.
I kind of feel like the Kings,
I'm surprised JaVale is still
somewhere, right? Like somewhere, I'm surprised has even a team like the Lakers or even Philadelphia. They had a ton of guys. Boban's still available. There's a couple different guys out there. Bismack Biyombo is a name. Can I interest you in a Thanasis? Still doesn't have a contract. He's maybe okay.
Wait,
I'm right there.
So the Bucks finally said enough?
I believe so. I mean, the list that I saw still has Thanasis as a free agent.
They finally said enough.
Maybe
enough.
They're saying, man, you gotta earn your keep nowadays. We can't just hold the roster spot open for you when we could realistically fill that with an impact player.
Well, especially when their roster is kind of brutal, right? They literally can't afford to. Can I ask you a question? And I'm not trying to throw a stray at Boban, but is he literally the example of a pretty decent athlete just waking up one day and being big as hell? I mean, he's 7'4", 7'10".
Always big as hell.
No, but like when people say I'd be in the NBA if I was 7'4", are they talking about Boban?
Sure.
Because I mean, he's just not.
Yeah,
he's just big.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's probably worse examples. Like Boban's actually crazy fit, like, and mobile for a guy as big. Like, I mean, we've seen Simbulars. Like, I think it's more of the and I mean, Boban's also not really done anything in the NBA, even slightly significant.
But I'm just saying he hung around.
Yeah,
he's big.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not because of his skill, though. I mean, you look at some of his like per 36 and plus minus numbers, you probably be really impressed. But yeah, I mean, he's a huge body. I mean, you see his hands in the Goldfish commercial. He's just a massive human. And it's actually pretty surprising that he hasn't been able to find any sort of NBA footing. Cause like I said, I mean, he doesn't move well at all. He is very plodding and moves like a giant, but he's like in really good shape and is really, really strong and actually is fairly skilled. And, you know, he's killed the Kings on a couple of occasions relatively. I'm actually really surprised that he's nobody like a Pistons or somebody, a really, really bad team. Why would you not just sign a Boban, let him cook and relatively? I mean, you know, I think just give him minutes. And, you know, how many Boban jerseys are going to get sold? A ton. Like, to me, it just makes sense to add him to your roster if you don't actually have a plan of what exactly you're trying to do with your team. Charlotte Hornets, sign him up.
Yeah. It doesn't. To me, he's just a person. I think he's the most recent example. But I think to your point, even to just get to the, there's probably worse examples who who haven't even hung around this long, but they're just as big. Coming up next, DeMar DeRozan predicts how far the Kings can go in this season's playoffs. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all.
Model year-end savings are going on now. It's savings you just can't say no to.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, home runs have been a big story for the A's as they hit 16 on the recent road trip, and they picked it up back at home on Labor Day with 2 by Shea Langoliers, including a walk-off, giving him 25 for the year, including 24 while catching. In the long history of the A's franchise, only Terry Steinbach hit more while behind the plate. He hit 34 back in 96.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay to store bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Advanced Infusion Center, where we prioritize your comfort and well-being. Whether you're managing a chronic condition or seeking specialized IV therapy, our state-of-the-art center offers tailored solutions to meet your needs. Advanced Infusion Center's dedicated healthcare professionals are here to ensure your safety and provide personalized care. Conveniently located in Sacramento and Yuba City with flexible scheduling options. Experience a new standard in infusion therapy. Visit Advanced Infusion Center today at advancedinfusion.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
It's prediction time. I was going over what Swim had on his docket with the boys before the show, and come on, Brock. We got a Brock Purdy MVP convo. I forgot about this one because Swim was on the plane.
I don't like the other half of Swim's bet.
Who is
Come on,
Swim?
Brock.
I feel like I missed this. What is Swim?
Tell him, Nate.
Someone who isn't me.
Was that a Nate exclusive? Did you make that up?
Swim.
Yeah.
We call him
when
Swim.
We talk about prop talk.
Someone who gotcha isn't me. Gotcha.
Nate exclusive right there.
Okay.
DJ Bedhead.
Okay.
916, and we got Brock MVP talk coming up soon as well. But we're talking DeMar right now and the Kings. 916-339-1140. Going to get to his prediction for the NBA, his bold prediction. But first, TC wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? TC.
Is he fighting a dragon? What's
TC,
going
are you
on?
okay?
Yes, no. Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, look, check it out. What's up? Hey, Alan, Chris, what's up, man, before we get started?
We're good, man. We're good.
Good to hear
Halfway
you.
through the week.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Hey, listen, so as far as with the DeRozan, I mean, not DeRozan, but the Kings, dog. Hey, Jae Crowder, I hope we pick up Crowder, man. I know he's a little older than two, but we need that dog, man. Like, we already got bodies. We're not like, so these moves that we're doing, we're not looking for a guy to come in and play 30 minutes and average 20. No, this is a team, and we already got enough dudes. Like that. DeRozan was the last guy that we brought in that's going to be like a 20 that can get like 20 a game. We can't fit like another guy. We can't fit another two guy. We can't do that, bro. So like Jae Crowder will add to the end of the bench to come in 3-and-D specialist, not being a pushover guy. We need those type of guys. Those are the type of guys that we need to be adding. We're not looking to add let's get another 20-point scorer. No, bro. Get another guy that can be a dog that's going to come in here and add to what we got going on. So Jae Crowder, I won't even let him leave Sacramento, bro. I add him immediately, bro, to the team, in my opinion. I'm glad that we're kicking the tires on him. That's all I got.
Thank you, TC. I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. Get Jae Crowder in Sacramento. Okay. He's been there. He's done that. And he's a dog. All right, Nate, let's get to this bold prediction that DeMar DeRozan had. He's making his rounds. We're going to have a lot of DeMar DeRozan content today. So this kind of kicks it off before we get into what he had to say with Sam Amick and things like that. Hear his bold prediction.
My boldest NBA take for the season, Kings Western Conference Finals.
Why'd he stop there? You know? NBA.
Well, he hasn't been
NBA
to
finals.
He hasn't been to a finals. He's been to Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
finals,
I guess.
so.
Yeah, and that's how you know he really believes it.
He really
He's like, I'm not
believes
just
it.
being crazy.
Right.
If I were being crazy, I'd just say we're gonna win it all.
That's right. That's
No doubt.
right. So that is DeMar
really sees
DeRozan. And now, Chris, we have to discuss the path for this to happen and how realistic it is for this to happen. Because I do think that there is actually a path. Obviously, it's all predicated upon how well the Kings play, but I do think there's a path, and I'm going to tell you the path right now. Denver Nuggets, they're done. They're washed. They're cooked, okay? Minnesota Timberwolves, it's going to be really hard for Rudy Gobert to overcome. They're either going to be the 1 seed, and they are just going to win the whole thing, or, between Karl Anthony Towns and his 5 voices and Anthony Edwards and everything he's got going on, and Rudy Gobert just getting roasted time and time again. The Timberwolves, they might not be ready for action. The Clippers, and I'm just going through how things ended. The Clippers, we know they're done. The Mavericks, I think they just got hot, right? I think they just got hot. I think the teams that are seriously, and I'm joking a little bit with the Timberwolves, I think the teams, and you got to play a team, right? So the teams that are going to stand in the way truly of the Sacramento Kings when it's all said and done, and you have to beat one of these teams to get to the Western Conference Finals, you'd assume. I think it's the Thunder. I think it's the Timberwolves. That I truly am for sure that they're going to be in the finals. Thunder, Timberwolves. Chris, that's the end of the list for me.
Yeah, same.
That's the end of the list.
That's where the list ends for me. I'm not afraid of Dallas at that level.
Yeah.
I think they could be. I think they're going to be a fine team. I mean, obviously they make the finals last year, but I'm right there with you that they got hot at the right time. And I just think that overall their talent isn't, it's not that it's not impressive at all. It's just that I don't think that it's a level above everybody else in the same way I think OKC's talent is definitely above everybody else's. And I think Minnesota is just going to continue to rise, and there's not really much reason to think that defense is going to fall off, at least in the regular season. But we saw that playoffs could be a little bit different. So I could see the Kings figuring out a way to make that series a little bit difficult for Minnesota. I think OKC is going to be a tough series regardless, but DeMar's just saying make the Western Conference Finals. He's not saying make the NBA Finals. And I do think that that's a realistic possibility. I don't see why the Kings can't beat a Dallas Mavericks. I don't see why they can't beat, the Phoenix Suns.
Well, a lot of people are high on the Phoenix Suns from KD and Booker with Team USA. A lot of people are saying
85.
Who
okay,
was?
sure.
I think Jason Ross was I think Jason Ross, Kyle Draper, they get Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
I think Jason Ross has said he thinks the Suns are going to figure it out. I think Kyle Draper has mentioned that as well. So the Suns are it's funny.
It's a lot of basketball for
Suns
KD
are the
in 1
sleeper
year.
pick with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. Somehow Tyus Jones has unlocked these guys.
Yeah,
Give me a break.
It could be the Minnesota theory, though, that Minnesota, the first year after they trade for Gobert, wasn't anything spectacular at all. Year
this
2,
was the
they're
first
the best
Bradley
team in the NBA.
This is going to be the second Bradley Beal year.
Okay. Yeah, so you could just make that argument that, it takes some time to come together. Maybe it wasn't the right situation with the coach or whatever. And, maybe they'll figure it out this year. I think they'll be better. I think they definitely needed a point guard last year, and now they have Monty Morris and Tyus Jones. So that's definitely an improvement there. But again, yes, KD and Book will definitely be in shape and in form because they played with the Olympics, but KD's 35+ years old.
Yeah.
And we know we're talking about lower body injuries. Like I just don't know if that guy who's 7 feet tall, and 7-footers usually don't have a great way of aging, especially when they have a history of lower body injuries. I'm more just saying a 30+ that KD at that advanced stage playing that many games in a basketball in a calendar year. Bradley Beal doesn't even play a full season ever.
Yeah.
I wonder what is going to make this year a little bit different for Phoenix.
Yeah. And again, these are teams
they're going to be tough.
But these are teams, we're talking about teams that we are sure about. We are not sure about. If we're gonna put the Suns there, then we have to put the Mavericks back.
Yes,
or the Nuggets.
Absolutely.
2 teams that the last 2 years went to the finals. So I'm not putting the Suns anywhere near that conversation unless I'm putting the Mavericks or the Nuggets in that conversation, which I'm not doing either. So
I'm
think,
out on Denver too.
I think he's on to something, but Swim has got to put their cheese where their mouth is. Coming up next, we continue the DeMar DeRozan conversation article with our guy, Sam Amick. He talks about access to therapy and a lot of things on and off the court. So we will get into that. Then we also have DeMar DeRozan on social media. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Ulta Beauty's 21 Days of Beauty event is back. From now until September 19th, score over 200 daily beauty steals at 50% off in every category. And check Ulta.com daily to get them all before they're gone. Take 50% off bestsellers from brands like Estee Lauder and Supergoop. Plus, say hello to new finds from brands like Dyson and Sol de Janeiro. And Ilia is now at Ulta Beauty in select stores and online. Shop in-store at Ulta.com or try pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply while supplies last.
Get ready for an epic fiesta on Tuesday, September 17th, when the Sacramento Rivercats become Los Dorados de Sacramento for a night of Hispanic heritage fun. Grab your amigos, bring the familia, and enjoy some baseball with us. Visit rivercats.com to purchase tickets. Vamos, Rivercats!
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports.
I miss music videos.
Oh yeah, big time.
They're still making them.
Saturday mornings,
cares.
I'll tune in. MTV's got a
you with TRL?
No, TRL was just before my time. I would get Top 20 Countdown.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just, I mean, it's the same concept, but you take out the the Carson Daly of it.
TRL annoyed me because they played like 20 seconds of the music video.
Yeah, that's stupid.
106 in Park.
106 in Park. Big, yeah, you were probably what when it was
Bow Wow. Bow Wow and Roxy.
Roxy. Yeah, I mean, I was
and then Terrence J. Come on, your boy. I know Terrence J's your guy. Come on.
Why
Terrence
are you right?
J's living your kind of life,
dude. I wish
just on stuff.
Just
I'm just doing stuff. Yeah,
who's that? Oh, I don't really know why I know Terrence J. But he's
that's
here.
Exactly what it is.
That's my
I like
goal.
him. I like Terrence J.
That's
I don't
my
know
goal.
what exactly it is about him that he's just,
And every time Think Like a Man comes on, I have to watch just for his line. Why don't you put some pickles on that? Why don't you put some pickles and some mustard on that burger?
Oh my god!
I love Terrence J. We got to get him on the show.
I'm sure we can find out.
You know who Jay probably knows.
Guaranteed knows
Yep.
Terrence J.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Who's actually just Terrence before he.
That's right. Oh, I know Terrence.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into
Terrence and TQ.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this Sam Amick article with DeMar. DeMar, I guess, Chris, we can say he's promoting his book that's out. So he was on First Take today. We have sound from we have sound from that. I probably can't even keep up. He's just been around ESPN today. I think today was his ESPN tour. He's doing a lot of different things. He was on the 502 podcast, so he's been doing a lot.
Jeff Teague is on Podcast P.
Podcast P as well. So he's doing the full gambit right now. But we wanted to focus on an article that he did with Sam Amick.
Yes, of course we love Sam Amick here, and you can go read this article over at The Athletic where it talks more about DeMar and kind of how he came upon this mental health journey that he's been on. Really interesting stuff that I really didn't know. In a way, I guess you could say DeRozan kind of stumbled into this as well. Like he said, he was just at an all-star weekend one weekend, and there was a big party that I think some big celebrity throws. I want to say it's Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith throws a big party every year, and he essentially was like, I just didn't feel like going to the party, and one day just tweeted out like, man, this depression getting the best of me. And then, everything really pops up about a couple months or weeks later. Kevin Love starts to come out. Michael Phelps came out at the time and was really vocal about athletes and mental health. And he just kind of really stumbled into it. Wasn't really trying to make a big statement or anything like that, but really ended up going on this really long journey. And he talks about just in general, these are more of the things that I picked out from the article. The players' access to therapy. Sam asked him essentially, since you've gotten in the league, DeMar's been in the league for 16 years now. How have you seen the league kind of integrate mental health and addressing mental health into the day-to-day lifestyle? And he pointed out that I've never heard this before. He said the infrastructure that they've started to build of making it accessible for us to have therapy, having therapists on site to travel with us on a daily basis, it becomes 100% confidential for the players. It's not somebody who's connected to the front office where the therapist will go back and say what was shared. They really built something that makes guys feel comfortable to have access to on a daily basis to have help. I've had teammates recently playing in Chicago where before practices, after practices, or even on the road, they'll go to dinner with therapists, and it really helps them out with a lot of things. I've never asked the specifics of what they talk about, but they use it very frequently. You see the connections that players have with the therapist, whether it's at breakfast before practice, laughing and joking about certain things that give the guys comfort to be able to be who they are and handle whatever business they need to handle from within. So that was really just something that I was incredibly unaware of. I didn't know that teams to that level had access to therapy, and to hear that, these guys go to dinner with their therapists and all that. I think obviously, we talk about the Russell Westbrook situation and kind of how all that plays into just kind of the mental side of basketball. You can imagine these guys going through just daily criticism and things like that, just how they've been able to deal with it. I thought that was really important. And again, you can check out more so on how DeMar himself has gone through his mental health journey and how the NBA helps other players throughout it more in the Sam Amick article. But now getting more towards the basketball stuff, Sam asked him, did it seem like this was going to be the offseason that you go home to LA and you sign with either the Lakers or the Clippers? DeMar's answer, pretty surprising, and this is, again, probably as candid as you're going to get him. He said, yeah, it did feel like this was the offseason. But after the last situation, you really don't get your hopes up all the way. I think the first time before I went to Chicago, that was the closest it had ever been. And for me, I thought it was going to be that, but when it didn't happen, I didn't have high hopes because you already know you can see how it could play out. So interesting to hear DeMar again, and I'll get into it here in a second, but might have not been the first choice was to go to Sacramento. And it's something that he's kind of been, I won't say people have asked him why Sacramento, and he's always, of course, made it sound like this is the right situation. This is a great, everything linked up. And I think some of us might have assumed that, oh, okay, Sacramento, he circled Sacramento specifically. That might not necessarily be the case. Sam asks him, how do you see the Kings situation and what it became? We all know they're not typically on players' short list in free agency, and you've already gone down as the highest profile free agent of their history. DeMar's answer really surprised me. He said, no, it definitely took me a minute to consider them. To tell you that they were on my radar beforehand, no, they definitely weren't. But sometimes you got to let the fog clear, and to make a decision, that's what I kind of did. You try and look at the landscape to make everything make sense, and where you feel you're going to be somewhere where you're going to be getting what you deserve, and you have an opportunity to compete at the highest level. Both ends were met, and looking at it, it just felt as if this was the perfect opportunity. So there you go. That's DeMar essentially saying, no, Sacramento wasn't my first pick. I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't exactly where I planned to go. But once everything kind of happened, we played the podcast Peace Sound the other day. DeMar admits I kind of had to wait for Paul George to make his decision before I ended up making mine. So clearly, he kind of needed for situations to play themselves out before Sacramento really emerged. But I do like the fact that DeMar's not just shilling. He's not just out here saying like, oh yeah, Sacramento's great. Love what they're doing. It was always going to be a great thing. I don't see it as not a destination. He's very honest and says, no, like it really wasn't on my radar at all until, everything settled and it was an option. And then as I looked into it, it really became clear and obvious best option for him. So just thought that was some good clarity on that situation. And Sam Amick also throws in there into a question. Just thought it was a good note. If DeMar scores at a similar rate for the Kings as he did in the 3 seasons that he just had in Chicago, he'd be pushing for top 10 all time in scoring. And Sam just asks him essentially, does it bother you that, you're not really thought about in that same ilk? He's only 86 points behind Steph Curry in the all-time NBA scoring list. I don't think people really treat DeMar with that same level of respect. Obviously not as much of a Steph Curry, but when it comes to the James Hardens, all the names that he's kind of lumped into with the modern day greats, does that really bother him? Again, you can go check out his answer. Over on The Athletic, Sam Amick wrote an article, why DeMar DeRozan wants more athletes to open up on mental health, show their Clark Kent side.
Yeah, and it's funny, Chris, and this might seem a bit random, but as you're talking about this, everything that DeMar DeRozan has said and has done to advocate for athletes, it does get really sticky because the obvious thing, let's just get the elephant out of the room. I mean, most of them are in the 1%, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
they're going to have more money than a lot of us could ever dream of.
Yeah.
And the person that I'm thinking of as you're talking about this is actually Daniel Jones. I don't know if you saw that video, but basically after Daniel Jones, just a horrific performance. But after that game, wherever the situation was with the stadium, there are fans standing outside where the players exit, and they're just letting Daniel Jones have it, right? And he's a complete joke to people. And
I mean, I don't know if you heard the Vikings player comment.
Felt bad.
He said he felt bad for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and then what's the first thing? I'm sure somebody's going to text it right now, so just hold on. Hey, he's making $160 million. I can't feel bad for you. So I do think, and again, I think here's what's interesting. We have said that we've gone back and forth with the Russell Westbrook thing and whether Brick is disrespectful or not. Right. I think we're on the same page that we don't find it disrespectful to his family or whatever it is. So I do think what DeMar DeRozan is trying to accomplish and the world he's trying to live in is that just because fans, quote unquote, have a right or feel like they can, roast someone within the lines, that doesn't mean that it doesn't affect these guys. And they got the money to go to therapy and things like that, but you have to address those things as well, no matter how much money that you're making, because I don't know. Let's assume that the stuff they were saying to Daniel Jones was inside the lines. Hey, you stunk today. You lost me money, whatever it is. And we would say, hey, comes with the territory. That's why you get paid $160 million. And I do think that whole line can get a bit grayed. And I don't think that DeMar DeRozan I haven't really heard him talk about, the fans this, the fans that. I think it's more about, regardless of whether you guys are keeping it between the lines or not, we have to deal with stuff that you might not ever have $160 million, but you'll also never deal with somebody, saying that you're a waste of life. Or what
I mean, it might not even
is.
be fans either, right? It might just be, you guys will never know the stress and pressure of my mom's best friend's daughter, like apparently needs her kids to have braces or something like that. Now all of a sudden that's my responsibility because she goes to church with my mom and she's guilt tripping my mom, just making it sound like this is a dire situation. And now it's my problem. And now I need to, just things like that. And I thought the really cool thing kind of to tail off of what you said is, with all of that going on, I do think it's really tough for these guys. Yes, of course, everybody knows. And like you said, they have access and the means and the financial means to get therapy. But I do think it's really good to have these teams have it in-house as well, because it does eliminate that step of, all of us know that therapy is out there and available for us to have. And, if you're fortunate enough to have insurance and good insurance that'll help pay for it, I mean, we all know it's there. And yet we still don't access it either. I think it's really important to just eliminate that step of having to set it up and just having it available, having it be something where it is as casual as walking into your coach's office. The same way you do that, you can just go and walk into the therapist's office. And I think that's really big for these guys, especially, we can do the whole machismo. Like, obviously this is a bit of an alpha universe that these athletes live in. It's a bit tough to walk into someone's office and then start feel bad about, some personal relationship stuff, not to just to use it as an example, but like, Kevin Huerter, maybe he's like, hey man, you know how tough it is every day walking into this building and not only, hearing it from fans, but then actually going through not being sure where my standing is with this team and, things like that. I just think it's really tough for these guys to be open and honest about their work life and about their personal life. And I think it's great that the NBA specifically, and I'm sure the NFL, I hope MLB has some level of this, but I think it's great that at least in the NBA where there is only 12 guys, right? It's a little bit more manageable for one person to see all these guys. I think that it's great that it's at least just there and available for these guys to get the help if they so seek it.
Coming up next, we have DeMar DeRozan and his thoughts on social media within the sports world. And we asked the question, we want to hear from you as well as we open up the phone line for the first time today, 916-339-1140. Has social media done more good or bad for sports? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Sacramento Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. They believe it's all about people and choices. Their goal is to find the car that fits your lifestyle. With their huge inventory of models, they've got the right car and more importantly, at the right price every time. Experience for yourself why their customers drive away smiling. Discover the difference because it's not just about the car, it's also about the people. Experience the Sacramento Dodge Jeep and Chrysler difference off Business 80 next to Hagen Oaks, or you can find them online, sacsuperstore.com.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at marysvillestampede.com.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
The DeMar DeRozan hour continues as we have more sound from DeMar, and this one is on social media. And I'm curious Nate's thoughts. I'm curious Chris's thoughts, because I think we have different versions of users in this group. I think Chris would be considered a power user as far as social media for sports, but I think I'm an extreme power user. And I think Nate is
power user.
Yeah, power user. Oh yeah, that's tech.
Just never
power
heard that
user is
word
you're
before.
on the app. When you get your screen time, it's pretty
Take
healthy.
us to Silicon Valley, man.
Okay. Yeah, power user is a user, like I said, is on the app every single day.
Okay.
And which we are for work.
Yeah,
so I would consider you a Twitter power user.
Okay.
And I would say, which is I think what Twitter is trying to accomplish, because it's like it's news. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Basically reading the newspaper is going on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you're a power user, I might be an extreme power user, which
you're
that's
like,
a term I've
you're
made up.
Active.
Yes,
in
that is
the
a term
process.
that I have made up, right? It only goes up to power user in tech, at least when
you're breaking boundaries.
And I'm breaking boundaries. So Nate, I would consider a moderate user.
I don't use Twitter.
Nate's not
Only
even on
for
Twitter,
work, for
right?
work.
He's not even on Twitter, but you're still on social media in some capacity for sports and for your job and things like that. So DeMar DeRozan had this to say about social media when it comes to the sports world.
Harder because we live in such a opinion-based, universe now. Like you can't do nothing. You can't express nothing without, outside people trying to tear that down. Even sitting here watching Mad Dog with the newspaper in front of them. I remember that was the only way you used to get your news or watch the news. Nowadays you can pick up your phone and see so many, opinions placed on you, or you give an opinion right away in real time, and that could take anything over the top. So I think it's tougher these days, because before you used to have to go to your local media to see what's going on. Now we all media as soon as we pick up our phone. I think it makes it a lot tougher in ways, and I think even what a lot of my conversations I try to have is try to break a lot of stigma that we are scared to have at times, because of such a opinion-based world we live in.
That was DeMar DeRozan on First Take, talking about really just dealing with opinions and social media. So I asked the question to the group and to you, the listener, if you are driving or listening on the Sacktown Sports app or on the Sack Chat on YouTube. And if you didn't know we had YouTube, Sacktown Sports, search that on YouTube. Has social media helped or hurt the sports world?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's a cop out, but it's definitely both for sure. I mean, it's helped in the obvious manner of, the amount of marketing and the fact that influencers are a thing, right? I was watching a clip of that LSU documentary that's coming out, and Livy Dunn essentially talking about, she is, gymnastics, especially college gymnastics, is not a popping market or anything like that. It's not like anybody really pays attention to it, but since she has a TikTok following, since she has an Instagram following, she's able to make a massive living as if she is one of these professional athletes. And I think, it definitely has led to, just in general, them getting more access to ads, to marketing, to a ton of stuff. And so it's opened up a whole nother stream of revenue for these guys and ladies, obviously, to make more money than they ever would have made before. But of course, the negative is everybody has an opinion, everybody has a phone, and everybody can at you, and everybody can talk about you freely and have no ramifications to it, as we do right here, right now. But I do think there's this interesting wrinkle about it that I don't know what to do with when it comes to this whole debate is, yes, 100% more people have access to hate on you and to see hate. But there's the side of, with the newspaper, when it was in the paper, it was everything, right? Like if it made the paper, everyone who read there was such limited news. If you were one of the 5 news things, then it was huge. It was one of the 5 things you could talk about. Whereas now it's almost, there's so much, maybe it doesn't hit the same. Maybe, where this would have been a massive deal 25 years ago, because again, it's one of the 5 things that are on the docket of things talked about today. Now, if you literally, if we can't do yesterday's show today because that is such outdated news. It's already been talked about. The news cycle has already ran its course. It thins it out so much that I think it helps and it hurts, but I think overall it probably does. Financially, it obviously helps them a ton, but I think it probably hurts their mental and them being a professional athlete more than it helps.
Yeah, it's definitely both. So it's not if it is a cop-out, it's just a cop-out that's true.
Yeah.
I think if you were to weigh the help versus hurt, it definitely has helped more, and I think it's helped everybody. I think it's helped athletes. I think it's helped just random people that, want to talk sports. I
totally.
think the thing before, you can look at this from the athlete standpoint, or you can look at it from the media standpoint. Actually, there's 3 standpoints, right? Because the athletes are turning into media as well. So I might not agree. And this is, what happened yesterday. So
there's also the fan standpoint too.
Well, there's a fan standpoint,
feel about
right? It? So I was walking, I'm listening to, or I see a clip from Overtime. It looks like Shador and Travis Hunter have a podcast deal with Overtime. And Shador, I still didn't like how he explained it, but Shador he was claiming his words got twisted, which is not true.
That's what they all say.
But he had a platform to then clarify what happened. Whereas 25 years ago, that wasn't the case. And it would be, that would just be what happened. Nowadays, you have a bunch of different opinions that actually get a platform for better or for worse. So I think there are pros and cons, just like everything in life. And, you have the player standpoint who they get to speak for themselves now. You have the traditional media, or old media, as you call it. They're still hanging around. And then you have, I guess, the new media. And I think a part of new media is just any fan can pick up a mic, right? Yesterday, during a break, I heard you playing something on your phone, and it was these guys saying how the Jets were going to whoop on the Niners. And I don't even know who the hell these guys are, but they're viral. Yep. They went viral, and, it gives everybody a seat at the table. I think there was two levels of gatekeeping before this explosion. There was gatekeeping because the press conference happens, the players leave, the writers leave, and then the writers get to say whatever they want, and the players have to wait until then you get the next press conference, but that's after the next game. And it's kind of, am I still going to bring this up? And then you had the gatekeeping because, the whole thing was, you're on the radio or you're on TV because somebody has deemed that you are good and somebody has deemed that you are talented, right? Nowadays, it's like American Idol and William Hung. Nobody has to tell you anything. You can go out, buy yourself a Roadcaster, and I'm the next Nick Wright or Stephen A. Smith until somebody tells me otherwise, or until my wife tells me I got to go do the dishes. Right. So I think that's a good part of it. I have no clue where this thing is gonna end, gonna land. I have a question for you. Because I do think that sometimes in our world, it feels like, everybody has a podcast. What do you actually think the percentage of sports fans is that have their own podcast and they're trying to do their thing? Because there's a part of me that thinks it's really high.
I was going to say.
There's also a part of me that thinks, well, all these people that listen to our show, do they have their own? It doesn't feel like they, you know what I mean? I have no clue. I have zero clue.
Yeah, to that point, it's either like 25% or it's like 2%.
Right.
And it feels sometimes like it's, a quarter of the people have at some point turned on a mic and recorded a podcast and uploaded it to SoundCloud. And it's the best thing that's ever happened. And they share social media clips and they have somehow better cameras and mics than we could ever imagine.
Right.
But it's like, I think it's probably a good bit. I do think that there's a lot of people who definitely try and get into the business, and in a way, it's made it harder. Some
people,
it's definitely made it easier, but
their second job
saturates it absolutely.
Their second job, and they just like doing it.
Yeah, you just hop on after work hours, you do a live stream for a couple hours, and there you go. You've made it.
Yeah, you've scratched that itch, and maybe you've had that itch your whole life. Yeah, so really interesting stuff there from DeMar DeRozan, and we will.
He knew Mad Dog's name also. That kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, oh, you watch this.
Well,
Mad
Dog's been around for a long time.
He's been around forever. Doesn't mean DeMar DeRozan has to know who he is.
DeMar DeRozan's older, though.
He is. No, I mean, yeah, he's
Mad Dog.
I know Mad Dog's been around. It doesn't mean that he has to know. He specifically said, "I see Mad Dog here with the news." Like there was just a level of familiarity that I was not expecting. DeMar seems like this kind of guy that would just not pay attention to any of that stuff.
It means he probably likes
I
baseball.
know he knows who Stephen A. Smith is.
Right.
Yeah.
That means he might have a baseball team.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because Mad Dog is
or
big
maybe
on
he just
baseball.
tunes into First Take a lot.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
He's
I
only
mean,
there on
it could
Wednesday.
also just be he works out in team facilities, and I'm sure ESPN is one of the TVs on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took an Uber ride with Mad Dog's nephew. I think I told you guys this. He was the worst.
How did
I'll tell you later.
Yeah,
I'll tell you later.
That's a 1:00 thing. Coming up next, what is an 11:30 o'clock thing? Peter Schrager says that the Niners are the best team in the NFC. Do you agree? Why wouldn't you? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys, live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus, view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Model year end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. The 90th annual Marysville Stampede is coming to Marysville's Cotton Rosso Arena this Saturday and Sunday. It's a whole weekend of the best pro rodeo action for the whole family. Bareback, saddle bronc, and bull riding. Plus the BMX motorcycle show. It's just $25 for adults and $15 for kids 4 to 12. The 90th annual Marysville Stampede, Saturday at 5 p.m. and Sunday at 3:30 p.m. at the Cotton Rosso Arena in Marysville. Get your tickets at MarysvilleStampede.com.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park for Country in the Part 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Carmelie.
I want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich. Dasha. And more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House. High voltage live boxing action returns to Northern California Saturday, September 21st at the venue at Thunder Valley with Thunder Showdown featuring the undefeated 12th ranked welterweight in the world, Amari Jones, plus Alan Sanchez versus Sal Viceno and 8 more exciting undercard fights with Maribel Guerrero, Blake McKernan, Gabriel Garcia, Anthony Hernandez, Ruben Torres, Alexander Espinoza, and more. Don't miss the Thunder Showdown September 21st at Thunder Valley. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Fight card subject to change.
What sets Ashton & Price apart from other injury law firms? I'll tell you. From beginning to end, all important legal decisions are made directly between our clients and their experienced local attorney. A gate agent flying the plane, the receptionist performing surgery, not a chance. There's simply no substitute for the unique power of the direct attorney-client relationship offered by Ashton & Price. And there's never a fee until we win, and between you and me, we win a lot.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
I've always believed that golf is more than just a game. It embodies integrity, commitment, and a sense of style. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa, and I'd like to tell you a bit about Naturewood Home Furnishings, a business that shares these same values. With the Procore Championship Professional Golf Tournament happening at the stunning Silverado Resort in Napa, I couldn't help but notice the parallels. Just like the game of golf, Naturewood has built its reputation on integrity, commitment, and timeless style. Looking to bring a unique style into your home? Naturewood offers custom certified designers who can help you craft the perfect look tailored just for you. And while you're enjoying the elegance of the tournament this week, along with Napa's world-class wine and food, be sure to visit Naturewood Home Furnishings. You'll discover pieces with the same sophistication and quality as the game itself. Who knows? You might even find an heirloom that will be passed down for generations. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Just look for the water wheel.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for Jeep Adventure Days?
Right now, save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Dodge Charger SXTs, starting as low as $28,715. These are some of the most fun cars you'll ever drive, and there's just a handful left, so don't wait and miss your chance.
Any other big deals going on?
Save money and gas when you save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs, which get up to 56 MPGE.
You don't want to miss this savings. See our full inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. 12,000 total net savings after 3420 factory rebates and 8580 dealer discount. Rebates may include 500 trade-in assistance. Must have qualifying trade-in. 17,000 total net savings after 4250 factory rebates and 12,750 dealer discount. Rebates include 3750 federal EV tax credit offered by third party, subject to change without notice. Consult a tax professional for eligibility. 5H net savings. See dealer for details.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at MarysvilleStampede.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Great stuff from DeMar DeRozan. Great conversation that we're having. But it's time to switch gears now back to the Gridiron Gang. You see that one by The Rock?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see Gridiron Gang?
I did not. Nope.
You see Remember the Titans?
Of course.
Did you see?
Don't put those
that's not
two
The
in
Rock.
the same
The Rock
category.
What's his big hit as a movie star? Like, what's his role?
What do
like,
you
you think of like Harrison Ford.
He's
you think
The
of
Rock.
Indiana Jones.
or whatever. What's
No,
that
I know,
movie
but The
where he's
Rock doesn't.
Jumanji.
The Rock doesn't have his own like thing. Like
Black Adam.
San Andreas.
These are all. Yeah, these are
He's
all.
not
bombs.
good though.
Yeah, that's
But
okay. I thought you.
But
were,
I liked him in Gridiron. That's his lane to me.
Yeah, it definitely should be. He was great in Ballers, actually.
Ballers,
the show
right,
Ballers
right.
was great.
I'm big.
Like, that's perfect
I'm
for
a
him.
former
That's
player.
the lane he should fill.
Yes.
100%. I am
Yes.
big athlete who is like, former athlete who can now like do business stuff.
Because I get it.
Because I get it. Right.
I can do
right.
business
Right.
stuff.
I'm a
too.
businessman.
Yeah.
I
I'm
got
not
the
a
brain
businessman.
and the body.
Yes. Well.
Can you cut yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Friday Night Lights, Chris, did you see that at least?
The movie, I think I
Come on,
watched
man.
it segmentally, like in high school. Like it was one of those like TV cart movies where
So you definitely never saw Varsity Blues.
I haven't seen anything.
This is
I have
absurd.
not seen anything.
No, this is absurd now. And Nate, you're
Sports movie, like it
one of
doesn't
the-
matter if it's a sports movie or not. Like I have not seen
Dude,
it.
I don't know how many times throughout my schooling career. I think 4 times watched Schindler's List in class. It's
What?
crazy.
Nate,
they
but
showed
what
it
does that
way
have to
too many.
do with
I thought we
Friday
were talking
Night
about
Lights?
school movies.
No.
Oh, seen it way too many.
All right, let's get to Peter Schrager because I don't know what's happening and I'm getting more gray hairs.
Like
talking
6
about both of you.
hours.
Peter Schrager says the Niners are the best team in the NFC. This is what he said on NFL Network. Let's hear from the man himself.
Yeah, look, what the Lions and Buccaneers did was very impressive this weekend. But if you watched Monday night and come out of that thinking anything other than that is the number one team in the NFC, let's discuss, because I don't know what else they could have done. That was such a performance, and it came with all the questions of will they be rusty? Can they perform without McCaffrey? What's Ayuk and Trent Williams holdouts? What are those going to look like once we get on the field? It did 38 minutes of possession. They scored on 8 straight offensive drives. Their kicker made all 6 of his field goals. And then this guy, every time there was a third down, every single time it felt like it was a big spot for the Jets to get the 49ers off the field. Purdy was magnificent. Purdy, who hasn't talked about his contract. Purdy, who isn't holding out. Purdy, who is like wearing a $11 button down from Dickies after the game. Like this is what we're looking at. This is the team that we expected to see once we got started with the offseason, before all the drama of all the contracts.
All right, well, Peter Schrager, great stuff there, but let's not talk about Purdy because he can't do any of that. I guess technically he could. Jamar Chase did it 2 years ahead, but
I don't think he can because they're not legally Well, yeah, they're not legally allowed to even have a conversation until next season, until this season's over.
Yeah, so not to get hung up on that, but look,
It's kind of a big deal if that was part of, his argument. So that's Peter Schrager's argument, like basis almost.
Right.
Like,
He's making
Brock's
it seem
playing
like
well
this
without.
guy. Yes, this guy isn't focusing on those things where it's like,
Yeah.
well, he can't.
He can't.
He literally.
No, he's
can't.
doing Applebee's commercials.
Right. Yeah, they're great.
And cover your mouth, and they don't want to steal your boneless order.
That's right. And it's basically a combination of a bunch of NFC teams in that commercial.
Yeah.
You got Dan Campbell and things like that. But, guys, the reason that we're getting a little bit sidetracked is because there's not really much to disagree with here. For after week one, I'm going to be honest with you, Chris, and Nate's going to think that I'm being a little bit cynical or facetious or whatever the case may be, but I'm ready to pack my bag. I'm ready to fight Carmichael Dave and pack my bags to get a beignet in New Orleans. I'm pretty sure we're going to New Orleans. Like, I just don't see it.
You think they send us?
I'm pretty confident Dave
They
has
sent
more
us to
pull than
Vegas.
I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
Pretty confident.
I'm
If
the
he
only one
wants
that can
something
do
done.
Does
camera
Dave want to
work.
sit there and interview people? You have to actually work,
No,
Dave.
he wants to eat.
You have to actually work, Dave.
He'll just do a remote show from there.
Yeah.
No, but
And Jason
all
will
the
be
people
here.
we interviewed, all the people we
Just
interviewed. Yeah,
No,
just
I'm
Dave there. No producer either.
No,
just
just
Dave.
Dave.
No,
Just
I know
Dave.
I'm going because I'm the cameraman. So
Well, I'm going.
I'll get you guys.
And the
with
reason
me.
we're saying this, guys, look, the only teams I'm really scared about the Lions as far as how thin they are at wide receiver. And I'm going to say it, Jamison Williams, that frame, right? He was injured coming out of Bama. He almost got taken out of that game in the first game of the season with that ankle. The idea that, and they're really thin at that position. The Lions are, right? And again, their windows, and sometimes you got to strike where the iron is hot. And the Lions had the Niners down bad, and they couldn't figure it out. Now the Niners get to figure out everything that they're going to get to play them during the regular season, which I think is great for really both teams, but specifically the Niners. Then you might have to see them again. So I think that bodes well for the Niners. So the Lions, to me, not super high on. I was higher on them in theory. Packers, we'll see with Jordan Love. Now that's more. Look, Chris, we're talking about
make the playoffs.
No, I was
first.
going to say, we're talking about a guy who got the bag, and he still needs reps.
Mhm.
He still needs reps as a starting quarterback, and he's not going to get them because he's injured. So the Packers or whatever, to me, the two teams, honestly, if you want to, or I guess 3 teams, I'll throw the Rams in there, but again, the Rams can't stay healthy. The other 2 teams, the Cowboys, are they ever going to figure it out? They're going to get smacked on the road. I just think they're going to lose to the Niners again. And then we'll say when they face in the playoffs, okay, well, they're 0-7, so now is the time they're going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And the other team is your boy, not a chopped cheese, that's a cheesesteak. Word to Kyle Draper is the Eagles, and I don't trust Sirianni, so I think we're going to New Orleans. I think we're doing what was it? Well, you guys don't remember this either. Celebrity Deathmatch from MTV.
Oh, that was great.
I remember
There
that.
you
yeah.
go. I think that's going to be Celebrity Deathmatch with Carmichael Dave
And Alan Stiles.
for us to get to New Orleans. I just don't see another NFC team bugging this team.
Schrager
at all.
even mentioned the
I think
Bucks.
you've got Dave for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I got to jump to punch him.
Yeah, uppercut, tiger uppercut. He mentioned the Bucks too. I don't think you did just there.
Sure.
And it's like
Simone
they're
mentioned
an
the Bucks on Monday.
absolute wild card. Like,
Mhm.
but the Niners last year handled them.
I don't know much
yeah.
about the Bucks defense, and these are all. That's
a little
the
aging.
best thing about the Niners, and I don't know if this is just luck.
Atlanta.
All the teams that we're talking about, I don't believe they have the Eagles this season, but all the teams that we're talking about, they get a free sample. They get a Costco free sample against the Bucks, against the Packers, against the Cowboys, against the Rams twice, of course, and against the Lions.
Mhm.
And they've seen the Eagles a ton of times anyway.
Right.
It's not going to be anything new, even though they got Kellen Moore. I'm saying, Chris, I just don't see an NFC team bugging them.
But Barkley too.
And Barkley. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we went through about all the good teams. I think there's going to be a couple of them. I think the Eagles can maybe give them fits this year. I was a little impressed by how they played. And we haven't really talked much about that Friday game because it was on Friday. And then we didn't really talk together until Tuesday. But, that was some really, really terrible conditions that they played in. And, at least the run game looked really, really promising. I some of the plays were a little bit explosive from the Eagles. I don't know how much you can replicate that on a week-to-week basis. I think the Bucs is a good shout with how good they played offensively. I think your defensive questions are definitely valid. I mean, I do think the Rams are really a sneak team that I would pick to maybe give the Niners some problems. We know that just in general, that rivalry's been a really fun one to follow. I think that there's a possibility that the Rams could be the team that gives them the most fits just because of the familiarity, and I don't think that they're really afraid of the Niners. And I think the Cowboys, like you said, they're going to choke at some point here, but I do think they have the talent to get it done. I'm not a Lions believer, but I do have to shout them out because they're probably going to get a ton of wins this year.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation. Can anyone challenge the Niners in the NFC, and what to make of the AFC after week 1? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing. Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America NA.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Since you probably can't afford your own sports psychologist, Golf Monthly's Fergus Bissett offers 5 golf psychology tips to help you play better. First, stay in the present. If your mind is ahead of you, how can you focus on the shot at hand? Second, every shot is a new challenge. The objective of every shot is to get the ball in the hole in the least amount of strokes. Go do it. 3, the past is the past. Many of us dwell on the past. Not good. Clear your mind and move on to the next shot. 4, never surrender. Some give up on their rounds too quickly. Your fortunes on the course can change with one swing or one decent break. Lastly, stay positive on the greens. If you're having one of those days where the putts don't drop, focus on the positives. If you're putting on your intended line, that's a good thing. Keep it up and they'll begin to fall. And remember, it's a game, so go out there and have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Sponsored by Xfinity Internet. Enjoy ultimate control of your home network. Personalize your Wi-Fi name and password. Assign user profiles. View and control connected devices and more with the Xfinity Internet app.
Sacktown.
Chris, and I sent it to you because I send everything to you. But, the streets have been talking a little bit, and I'm curious your thoughts, and I'm really curious Nate's thoughts. The streets have been talking, and basically I'm trying to describe this video to you, right? So there's a video of Joe Burrow, and this person, just some account on social media, says, Joe sees camera, puts on helmet, and runs by cameraman trying to look cool. Joe stops at midfield, takes helmet off, then walks back. This is the fakest aura I've ever seen. The kids are saying that Joe Burrow is aura chasing. He's trying to get those clips, the really cool video where he throws the football and spins it. He's more concerned with aura than playing. And he's also dealing with, a wrist injury?
Yes.
You saw that he could barely pick up the bottle. You've been on this first, Chris.
Yes.
You've been on this first, but are you starting to feel like Joe Burrow is maybe aura hunting? I've never even said that term before.
No, because I've never heard the term before.
I made it up right now.
No, I mean, I've just never in my life thought, oh, no, Joe Burrow specifically is out here clout chasing, essentially. No,
yes.
I mean, I've never had that thought. I did think the blonde hair was a little bit strange. It was definitely a decision, but I didn't think it was because he was doing it for Backstreet Boy appeal or something like that. No.
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. You're going to
bleach
go
my hair.
Sure.
It's going to be cool.
I mean, Alan, it sounds like you think he is.
It definitely made me think about it because every year and he's not bad at it. He's not saying he's bad at it, but it does feel like every year there's these really cool clips of Joe and somebody's kind of caught him. Basically, they caught him before it happens, essentially finding the camera. And I did find it a little bit funny. And then you go out there and, injured or whatever the case would be, then you lose.
What's worse, that or what Jared McCain's doing on TikTok?
At least Jared McCain's owning
yeah,
it.
He's honest about it. That's what I was thinking about. But like pretending to be cool, but he actually is cool. So like why are you pretending?
Right. He can get away with it because everybody likes Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
it's
and now he's like
a contrarian take, but I did make me think, okay, I mean, how does this guy keep coming up with such cool clips? There's got to be a way.
You're like, I need to figure out
I'm
this.
a lot more concerned about Joe Burrow throwing for 140 yards and his team losing to the Patriots.
Yeah.
They did. They made some pretty key mistakes, fumbling and
they fumbled like in the end zone.
Yeah, and that was it was a punch out.
It was,
and then they took it back.
Play.
Yeah,
It was a great play.
But you can't hold the ball out like that.
No.
You watched Breece Hall against the Niners. He got punched out by Fred Warner, and then
that was insane.
Fred was coming at him again. He switched arms and took the ball away from him. So he learned from his mistakes.
I mean, it does feel like we did not talk about Fred Warner enough.
Dude, that was his game. It got overshadowed by Jordan Mason. Fred Warner took the air out of the Jets offense completely. No going back after that.
Yeah.
He was a force on the field. Yes. Thank you for saying that, Alan.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, that fourth play. I mean, the play where he gets the fumble was the fourth play of the game. And it was funny because in my mind, I was like, oh, this is a really big play because Aaron Rodgers only played 3 downs last time. And so in my mind, I was thinking, okay, like this is a good opportunity for the Jets to get this fourth play. I'm sure Aaron's thinking, okay, this is deeper than I made it last year. And that's the play where Fred Warner hits it out. And to Nate's point, like you can kind of feel it be like, oh, okay, the Niners have the ball. Like it just immediately turned from, okay, this is the Jets about to get over this really big hump to, oh, it's the Niners ball and they're probably about to just run away with this game, which they kind of didn't. What they did? Did they score off? I don't think they scored off of that fumble. Did they?
Got a field goal.
Is that where they got the
I
field
think that's
goal?
where they scored first.
Yeah.
So Fred Warner, I'm just looking at this too. He has the second most forced fumbles in franchise history for the 49ers.
I think they said he's
Patrick
the only
Willis.
active player with 8 interceptions and 8 forced fumbles as well.
He is a monster.
You know where I'm going with this, and I'm going to do it because this is what we do. Who's more important on that Niners defense right now, Bosa or Warner?
I think
Warner.
It's
Warner.
Warner, right?
And it's been that way.
Yeah.
It's been that way.
It hasn't been that way, I think, to the outside, but I think
to me, it's
if
been
you
that way.
watch a game,
It's almost. I mean, it's like
he's
a quarterback
everywhere.
against a running back. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, Fred is he's controlling the defense, and
Yeah.
he's complete. I mean, he's doing it all. Again, 8 interceptions and 8 forced fumbles. He's playing pass coverage, but he's also an absolute demon when it comes to getting tackles and just being a ball hawk. And you know, Bosa is a little bit of pin your ears back and just go get the quarterback. I mean, it's just Fred's being asked to do way more, and he is doing a ton. He's doing it all.
Yeah, Bosa doesn't play coverage really at all either. He's always lined up in that wide 9 position. Fred is more important. You're watching at least in this week 1 these new guys step up too. Just and play their role great. And man, I'm happy about the defense. It is starting to look. We'll see week 2, but I think Steve Wilkes might have had some problems here. I know you don't like to hear that, Alan.
No, I told you I don't defend him anymore because he doesn't have a job.
Yeah, he doesn't have a job. So
and I looked it up. That
I
Missouri,
don't defend him because he doesn't have a job.
Yesterday, that Missouri thing that I found, that was from I think 2021. He's not with Missouri right now.
Yeah, no, he's just in misery because he doesn't have a job.
Very,
but
very good, very nice, nicely done. Yeah, so Fred Warner, man, it's really ridiculous how good he's been these last couple years, and I think he's starting to get the flowers, guys, that he deserves. But I wanted to get to the AFC a little bit, Chris, as we talked about the NFC, and a team that it looked sketchy at first, but they ended up getting the W. Are you feeling any better or worse, or what are your feelings about the Buffalo Bills, who I just told you guys during the break, I'm really excited to watch Niners Bills later in the season. That's in I think it's December 1st. Yeah. So that weather, I want to see Brock in the cold weather. I want to see all that. I was kind of off the Bills bandwagon. We'll see. Because, I was kind of off the Bills after they moved off of Stephon Diggs. A lot of people saying Stephon is washed, but okay, what are your other options there? They go out, they get Keon Coleman. But the Bills, they kind of squeak out a victory. Very similar, Chris. I think the only reason we think differently, and not that Lamar is small, but the only reason we look at Lamar differently than Josh Allen is because Josh Allen is a monster. But really, both of the ways those guys play football is just, it's not sustainable. It's not.
Yeah, no, I mean, Josh Allen is pretty much their fullback. Like, he's pretty much their power back. He got 2 touchdowns last week running the ball, and he it's kind of just how he plays, and his body definitely helps him play that style. I am right there with you, though. I don't feel very great about the Bills this season. It was a very sketchy game that they had against the Cardinals. It looked like for a minute there the Cardinals had an opportunity to kind of run away with the game, and then the Bills were able to get into it. And then by halftime, it really was only, what was it? It was a 7-point game at halftime. And so the Bills were able to kind of recoup, but it was about as sketchy of a week 1 performance as you can have. We know the Cardinals, they're fine. They have talent, but they're not world beaters. They're not a playoff team. And the fact that the Bills struggled that bad with them in week 1, it was a little bit concerning. So if I had to give like a worry meter, probably sitting at like a 6.5, 7 for the Bills, because I do think that offense is going to be questionable. I think they're relying a lot on James Cook, who really did pop at the end of last year, but can he continue to do it every single week? We'll see. And Keon Coleman better be good, because I don't know who else is going to be Josh Allen's number 1 target. Khalil Shakur, maybe they're going to lean more into their tight ends a bit, which only had their tight ends had 2 catches in week 1. So I don't really know how exactly that pass offense is going to look as dangerous as it has in the past, when they do have Stephon Diggs and they had a Gabe Davis and things like that. I don't know if they're going to be able to replicate the downfield passing that they've been able to have in the past.
Well, no touchdowns off the top of my head. No touchdowns for Keon Coleman, but he did have 51 receiving yards.
Yep, led the team in yards and catches.
Yeah, I mean, all the other off the top of my head, it doesn't feel like any other rookie. Am I missing a rookie wide receiver?
Marvin Harrison, out? 1 catch, 4 yards.
Which wasn't his fault.
No, actually, no. I mean, Xavier Worthy went crazy. Brian Thomas went crazy as well. Brian Thomas got a touchdown in the Jacksonville game.
I think Xavier Worthy scored his first touchdown on a technical handoff.
Yes.
No receiver. I mean, this plays into our conversation yesterday about just like kind of mediocre play around the league. No receivers went. I mean, Tyreek Hill did. Yeah. And then we didn't mention his celebration either. I don't know.
Well, they cut away from it on TV. You had to see it on social.
Yeah, there's more on that as well. More notes have come out. The cop reached out to Tyreek Hill's camp. Apparently, the camp, this is from ESPN, Tyreek Hill's camp declined. Tyreek Hill has spoken again about the situation and, said he probably could have not rolled his window back up and things like that. But yeah. So
he also said that he thinks he should be fired. Pretty sure I saw that headline.
Yes, I saw that. I think it wasn't the Dolphin. I think it was Tyreek Hill's camp calling for the police officer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that situation, I don't think we'll be talking about it by next week, and specifically because, well, funny enough, it probably will end tomorrow because with that Bills conversation, Bills take on the Dolphins tomorrow in a game where Chris, just as always, the weather is still good, so Tua won't be completely useless. I have no clue who's going to win that game, and it's in Miami, so I have no clue who's going to win that game. No clue.
Yeah, I mean, my money would be on the Dolphins. I feel like you said, I mean, this early in the season at home, weather's all good. Tyreek Hill had an explosive game last week. I would think that the Dolphins, this is a good opportunity for them to kind of stake their claim in the AFC East. They could definitely do themselves a lot of favors by winning this game. They kind of have to. I mean, because then, the game later is going to be in Buffalo. You kind of have to get this one, and it sucks for them that it's going to be on a Thursday. But, I do think Miami should be offensively, again, I don't know if Buffalo is going to be able to keep up with them. So it is on Miami to lean into that strength. And if they can put up 25, 30 points, I don't think I can see Buffalo being able to match that.
Coming up next, we have the conversation. He got close last season. Can he do it this season? Brock Purdy, MVP, the highest PFF graded QB in week 1. Can he keep it rolling? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles the man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
It's game on at Sky River Casino during our $100,000 Get in the Game giveaway. Catch your share of $25,000 in weekly prizes with a guaranteed $10,000 cash winner. Earn entries by playing your favorite slots and table games and score a free entry each day at our promo kiosk. Join us every Saturday in September from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. to kick off your winning spree. Visit skyriver.com for details. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park for Country in the Park 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Carmelie.
I want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich. Dasha.
Did your boobs stop working?
And more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip. A brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports.
Now here's what I want you all to do for me.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Head body. That's what they say in boxing. And you will get to see it live. Thunder Showdown show this September. Feel the thunder with the Ultimate High Voltage live boxing event. You have to see to believe. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 1 p.m. Amari Jones, undefeated 12-0. 12-0. That is September 21st. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com, where you can also see all of, by the way, we are the only station. Not only are we giving you the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. content, you can go on social media and see content. You can go on sacktownsports.com and see content. Not just your Sacramento Kings. We are the flagship, of course.
We put out a video the other day of best and worst Kings jerseys.
And it's doing really well.
Chris had some good takes. Yeah, it did pretty
they did
well.
That while I was out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I did.
I actually, I wonder who it was.
Go check that out. You can see that video. It's on YouTube Shorts. It's on social media. And you can see what all of our writers are talking about, not just about the Kings. We are the flagship, by the way, but we're also the Sacramento home of the Niners. We have Niners coverage all over sacktownsports.com, and Giants and A's. There's nowhere else where you can find all that. Trust me. So we're going to get back on into this. And by the way, real quick, I did want to ask, this is more of a 1 o'clock conversation. But as we're talking
why
about,
not bring it up at 12?
Well, just real quick. How about this? We'll tease for the 1 o'clock hour. As we're talking about boxing, Amari Jones, you can win tickets at 1 p.m.
Yes.
So we will follow up this conversation at 1 o'clock.
So we have two things at one. This, whatever this is, and then my ride with Mad Dog's nephew.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's actually
Kayla was in the car with me too.
Great. Yes or no question, and we're gonna go around the room, and that's it, and then we'll follow it up later. Yes or no, Chris Watkins, have you ever been in a fist fight?
No.
Nate, have you ever been in a fist fight?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. We will follow that up at 1 p.m. HR, please don't call us and cancel it. Let's get into this Brock Purdy conversation, Chris and Nate, as we see that Brock is the highest PFF graded QB from week 1. Brock Purdy with an 89.6. Chris's boy, Sam Darnold, with an 88.1. Patrick Mahomes with an 87.9. Derek Carr with an 87.5. Yes, I said that right. You don't have to clean your ears. And Aaron Rodgers with an 86.2. I asked the question, can Brock Purdy finish the deal and win MVP? And I guess finish the deal, that would be Dak, because Dak was the runner-up. But Brock Purdy, MVP, do we think it actually could happen this season? More likely or less likely than last season? I think obviously with whether it's Christian McCaffrey or Jordan Mason, that running game might make things difficult for him. But do you think it's possible?
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible. If anything, I would use what you just said to say that that makes it more possible, is that if McCaffrey's out for 6 weeks and the Niners still have the same success that they've had in the past, the problem last year was they were trying to give the credit to everybody but Brock Purdy. It was Christian McCaffrey who ends up winning Offensive Player of the Year and all that. And, obviously tons was made of Brandon Ayuk season and everything that went into it. But, I think that if the Niners can be a little bit more pass happy this year and maybe obviously without Christian McCaffrey, I do think that there's a good chance that Brock could be right back into that conversation. And I think last year, again, they were looking for an excuse to not give it to him. As long as he doesn't have a 5 interception game in week 14 or 15, I do think there's a really good chance that he's at least going to be in the conversation. Whether or not he can win it or not is kind of up to it being a perfect season.
Yeah. I think, to your point, because I was actually, when I first said it, I actually said it just based on Christian McCaffrey being on the team. But I like where you took it as far as Christian McCaffrey not playing. Yeah. And that really added to one of the Avengers is gone. Yeah. And what are we going to say now? Christian McCaffrey, and I joked about it yesterday, is a system running back. So just because you have Jordan Mason now doing his thing, the excuse is you take away Christian McCaffrey and a big excuse disappears. You know what I mean? And you have obviously Brandon Ayuk, who's rusty. Hopefully that rust will go away, but you definitely have a lot of excuses starting to disappear for one Brock Purdy. So I definitely think it's possible. I just got to say, and I give, I like to have a lot of fun with Niner fans and Raider fans apparently, but I mean, Brock Purdy on third downs, it's just when you watch Chris, I'm actually surprised when the Niners don't score a touchdown, or at very least if they don't score points. Whenever the Niners punt, I'm actually surprised because Brock Purdy on third down, he just never gets flustered at all. And
who is this guy speaking right now?
I'm just saying, it's the truth.
I thought you hate these guys.
I don't hate these guys. I like having fun, but the bottom line is you watch it. And even if you try to hate watch the Niners, it's the most frustrating thing ever because he's just never flustered. He does not get flustered, and he did not look outstanding early, but just like everybody else, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks didn't look great throughout the whole game, and Brock settled into everything. He doesn't have the biggest arm and things like that, but he's just never flustered. And apparently, this was not supposed to be the best O-line ever, and he's just slippery, man.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, just to kind of level things out, I guess. Okay. Like, why would he be flustered? Like, not saying it's not impressive that he is. I'm not saying he isn't, but when you have the amount of weapons that he does, there's no reason to be flustered. If you have Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk that everybody has to worry about, well, that's how you end up with Kyle Juszczyk wide open on third downs. It's how you end up with Juwan Jennings being third and Juwan, right? It's not saying you're wrong at all, but just saying, that's probably why he does feel a level of comfort. And the Niners have afforded him to have that level of comfort. And I do think it would be interesting just in general because it is the conversation, but what would it look like if he doesn't have necessarily that level of comfort? What happens when it's more, okay, we have the playmakers I just need to get the ball to make the plays. What happens when, he's got to go make those plays? Not saying he can't do it, not saying he hasn't done it, but that's really the next point that I think a lot of people are going to make.
Well, I will level it out myself as well to say this. And as you were talking, you did remind me of something. Oh. It is kind of crazy, and this is not to take anything away from Brock, but it is kind of he had the dime to Ayuk, which Ayuk dropped, but it is kind of crazy how many throws that Brock has, and I will give him his due on the progressions, but them boys be wide open.
Again, we've seen Jimmy miss those too.
But that's also true.
That's where it's again.
Jawan, there's no one by Jawan, right? You have to not miss the Juszczyk throw, but he's making it. I get what you're saying.
That plays into what you're saying though of him not being flustered, right? Because clearly Jimmy, even with all of those weapons, would be flustered enough to throw that ball out of bounds, and he isn't, and he is comfortable enough and has faith that his guys are going to be there, and he does great. I mean, but. You're also, to your point, like you're ignoring a whole side of this if you're not bringing up the fact that, man, these guys get schemed open and they obviously create the space themselves, but they are wide open sometimes.
Now, are they wide open because of how quick people are going to think I'm taking crazy pills today, how quick he processes. Yeah. Okay.
This is insane.
Or are they wide open? Yeah. Or are they wide open because Brock seems to keep the play alive, right? Two of those things maybe don't get talked about when I'm just watching the game on my couch eating cheese puffs, and I'm thinking, these fools are wide open. right? I mean, anybody could hit those throws. How much I would love to have, and I know the guys the morning show had on Sean Salisbury. I'd love to have on, and we're going to try to keep having on former Niners players and just guys that know the game in general. When you see them wide open, how much of that, if we're doing a credit cake, how much goes to Kyle Shanahan, how much goes to the receiver, and how much goes to Brock? Because maybe more goes to Brock than we think about. Because I'm just looking, I'm like, this dude's wide open.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe his eyes led people away from the receivers, things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I mean, he's also going down the progressions. Like that could be his third option, and he's finding out how to navigate through that and find the open man as quickly as possible. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of those things that we just aren't really knowledgeable enough to know about. And, I'm sure it's everything. I'm sure it's a combination of everything. I mean, Kyle is regarded as the offensive genius in this league for a reason, because he can scheme so many things that leave people open or just really highlight people's strengths. It is getting really good route runners in the single coverage so that they can exploit those guys. And there is a good connection with Brock as well. These guys sitting in zones and understanding how to get his attention. I think that it's just a combination of everything, and it is why the Niners, they're like an onion. I know Shrek 5 is coming out. You peel it back, and there's
wait.
That Shrek is like
5?
Shrek 5 is coming out. Yeah, you didn't see that? You missed that? Should be a good one.
Save that for top stories.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, you peel back the layers of the onion. There's just so many reasons why the Niners are good. It's the players, it's the scheme, it's the front office. They have multiple reasons why they are so tough to take down every single year. And I mean, it's definitely a credit to them.
From the 209, LOL, this is hilarious. That was 14 minutes ago. So 209, I'm not sure. We've been talking about, that could be about Nate with someone's cousin in the back of an Uber. I don't know. We need more from that 209. I'm not sure what exactly you're talking about there, but I'm very curious. 45 minutes, we give away tickets to hang out with me and Nate and possibly Chris Watkins to see Amari Jones fight at Thunder Valley. Nate said he's buying ribeye, so that will be a good time. Coming up next, I've been waiting to talk about this one. Which 0-1 team should be worried the most about their start? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Matched De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Silverado Savings Spectacular now at Maida Chevy with $13,000 off MSRP. Every new Silverado half-ton LTZ in stock after rebates. $12,500 off every Silverado half-ton High Country after rebate. And $11,000 off all new Silverado half-ton RSTs exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Whatever Silverado you choose, you'll save thousands at Maida Chevy. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing and lease and some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer. Ends 9/30/24.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. SubcontractorsUnited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
It's the home opener for Sacramento State Hornets this Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff versus Nichols. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
$45 minutes. Your chance to win tickets to see undefeated champ Amari Jones at Thunder Valley. Have either of you been to a combat type situation?
I've been to the
Boxing?
UFC about 4 or 5 times,
shoot,
and I
okay,
covered it
okay.
once too.
Oh,
yeah, but it was a lower level. It was Uriah Faber's, like his G League essentially.
Yeah,
that's when I went to Hard Rock, and it was a great. I interviewed Josh Emmett that night.
There you go.
Yeah, so I love combat sport. Chris does too. We talk about it all the time.
Never been, though.
Never been?
Yeah,
Well,
need to
Chris,
go.
here's your opportunity.
Yeah.
TJ Dillashaw fought for a title here at Arco.
I know,
16, I want to say. I went to that. That was the first one I went to.
I think they had a fight night at Golden One, too.
They've had at least 2.
At least
I think 3.
Yeah. I need to go.
There you go. Well, you have an opportunity, Chris, and the listeners, you have an opportunity at 1 p.m. to see Amari Jones boxing. It's old school combat sports, and we will have some fun with that throughout the rest of the week. And of course, at Thunder Valley, so maybe you'll get lucky. All right, Chris. Teams that seem to be unlucky right now, they're all 0-1. Which team should be worried the most about their start? You have an Athletic article that we are going to break down.
Yeah, I mean, the Athletic wrote an article essentially just which 0-1 teams should be worried. And I just thought we should go through all the 0-1 teams and give our thoughts on what exactly our panic meter is, if we should be worried, if we should kind of wait and see with this team, or if it's full blown panic mode, or again, should we do what Aaron Rodgers said in RELAX, relax. So let's start off with the Baltimore Ravens, who of course lost on Thursday to the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, there's no worry at all for me, right? Like, I mean, there's
no immediate worry.
Yeah, no immediate worry. And when we say worry, I think it's more just where these guys were supposed to be, right? Like, I think there's going to be different levels of, okay, these guys need to worry because they are now looking to fall short, or it's, there's just not much to do about it. So I think Ravens are definitely in a relaxed kind of nothing to worry about. The Bengals, are you concerned at all about the Bengals?
Yes, I am, specifically because, and I haven't seen any reports, Chris, maybe you have, besides me having some fun with Joe Burrow and his aura chasing. But I haven't seen any reports on his wrist. But the Bengals, I mean, look, you can look at this 2 ways. They have been slow starters in the past, but at the same time, I just don't think you can afford to be. And you don't, and Curtis Hicks said this on the Sack Check. Yeah, they moved on from Joe Mixon, and I think that's a big deal. Joe Mixon is a stud, right? Bay Area guy, and that guy is a stud, and you let him walk, and that run game, it's super important. So to lose to the Patriots, you get the Patriots that first victory under someone other than Bill Belichick. I mean, with Jacoby Brissett, that's just ridiculous at home. I do think you have to worry simply because they're in the AFC. You can't mess around out there. I like their division is kind of whatever, but the bigger picture, if Joe Burrow is going to challenge Mahomes like he has in the past, you got to figure it out quickly.
Yep, definitely. T. Higgins also today, they're saying he is day-to-day making good progress. He was out for week 1 and still seems like he's questionable with a hamstring injury for week 2. I'm a little bit concerned about the Bengals. I definitely would put it at moderate, but definitely going to monitor that situation. And I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised, especially that's a really, really tough division. I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the outside looking in. And let's not forget they missed the playoffs last year. They very well could miss it again. How about my guy, Anthony Richardson, and the Indianapolis Colts? They lost 29-27 to Houston the other day. Are you worried about the Colts season when it comes to where, I guess, and I probably would assume expectations for them were floating around 500, right? It's which side of 500 are they going to fall on?
Yeah, and real quick, I was talking about the AFC North. They're not a bad division. It's just a bit confusing. We don't know what the Steelers are. We know who the Ravens are, and we still don't know what the Browns are. They might be starting Jameis. But the bottom line is it's not a cupcake division. So if you're the Bengals, you need to figure that out. Getting to your Colts, I mean, I think they're wild card hunting. I'm actually not – I'd have to look at their schedule, but I'm actually not that worried about them. I mean, the Jags, they looked pretty good against the Dolphins. But the Colts, I mean, I think Anthony Richardson was as advertised, which I believe is not a surprise to people like you, Chris, but to others out there. And I also think the other side of this, which is just as important when you're talking about a team who's going to make a run, that defense was legit.
Yeah.
I mean, CJ Stroud he didn't even crack 200 yards.
Yeah.
Right. So he did not look comfortable. He was looking for Micah Parsons and his podcast mic. So I think that the Colts are definitely, you might've been onto something. I was sweating you for that pick because you picked the Colts and they got close and Anthony Richardson showed some flashes. I'm actually not, and based on their timeline, right? I don't think anyone expects them to win the whole thing this season. I'm not worried about the Colts.
No, I think they should feel fine. Anthony Richardson, I mean, he he finished the game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was still a moment where I think he threw the ball and hit his finger on someone's helmet. That's never good, and kind of continues Anthony Richardson not being able to complete a football game without some sort of injury, but relatively healthy. I don't think he's on the injury report for week 2, so I think that's a massive win for the Colts, and they should feel good. I mean, if they're competing with the best team in their division like that, there's real reason to think that by the end of this season they can compete. And let's not forget, with Gardner Minshew last year, Colts are pretty dang good.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons. I am all the way concerned about the Atlanta Falcons. 10 points. I know the Steelers defense, incredible. TJ Watt looked like JJ Watt on Sunday. I just feel like the Falcons should have looked better. There's no excuse for only putting up 10 points and to lose to that Steelers team. I know it was Kirk's first week there, but that offense didn't look like it really had anything going for it. I'm concerned. I'm definitely concerned. I'd probably put it at like a 7 or an 8 if I had to with the Falcons, because they're just supposed to be better than what they looked in week 1.
Yeah, I don't think, especially somebody like Kirk Cousins, it's not, maybe the expectations were a bit too high coming into the first game, but they didn't even get close to the expectations. It's one thing to, okay, we thought they'd look better, we thought they'd look really good, and they didn't. They looked discombobulated. They looked a mess. That was at home against Justin Fields, not even Russell Wilson, who I guess we don't know if that was better or worse at this point in time. But yeah, it can't happen if you're the Falcons. And, maybe we're not talking. The good thing, the reason I probably wouldn't be worried about the Falcons is we're going to learn a lot about the Saints this week because the Saints have the Cowboys.
Right.
So if the Saints are legit, the Falcons could be in trouble. I'm just not sure the Saints are legit, which gives the Falcons a lot of leeway to, make a wild card run.
Yeah, for sure. Fifth team, here we go. The Arizona Cardinals, 0-1. They, as we talked about earlier, fought with the Bills for about 3 quarters, and then the Bills do end up winning that game 34-28. What is your level of concern for the Arizona Cardinals?
Can you have a level of concern if you don't have expectations?
What is your expectation?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely am worried. I'm worried about what they're playing. They get Marvin Harrison. Clearly, I don't know if Kyler didn't get the newest update of Madden where Marvin Harrison was in the game, but Kyler just didn't throw to him. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a mess out there for now. They are, how old is Kyler now? Like 26, 27? So I'm not really worried about the Cardinals because I just don't expect them to do anything.
Yeah, no idea what they expect for the season. I guess it's a win, a moral victory for them because they hung in so much, but I feel like that's what they did all throughout last year, even without Kyler. Like Josh Dobbs was at least like he made that game a little competitive when they went against the Niners earlier last year. I just think, they're fine, they're scrappy, but what exactly are they? I feel like they're 6 or 7 wins, and to your point, I don't really know if that's a reason for concern because I kind of think that's what everyone thought they were going to be. Yeah,
and thank you, Nate. He is 27. He's 27, so he's approaching his prime. They have no light at the end of the tunnel, and much to my chagrin, the truth is he's undersized and he relies a lot on athleticism.
Yeah.
So it's going to take him a year or two to get to a good place. You still are in the division with the Seahawks and the Niners, and now you're going to have a 30-year-old quarterback who's 5'9" with cleats on and probably some Dr. Scholl's and coming off of an ACL. So the Cardinals are a complete disaster, if we're being honest. Who you don't believe in and leaked that you put a clause in his contract where he has to study the playbook.
That YouTube channel though, sick.
He's great at COD though. That's a disaster.
He's good at
actually,
COD.
now that I think
Good at vlogging.
All right, let's keep going, Chris.
All right. The Denver Broncos lost 26-20 to the Seattle Seahawks, who I think the Seattle Seahawks are also very confusing team. So if you're losing to them, what is that saying about Sean Payton's Denver Broncos that I think they did have, whether it was agreed upon by everybody else, they definitely thought that they could surprise some teams this year. And how are you feeling about the Broncos season?
Yeah, I fell for it so far. They tried to convince me Bo Nix, remember that story? We tricked the Raiders into not taking Bo Nix, and that's fine, but we also don't know if Bo Nix is any good. So, again, I don't really have any. They tried to convince me into having expectation for the Broncos, but realistically, I have no expectation for the Broncos, so it is what it is with them.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I feel, too. I didn't realize Bo Nix threw 42 passes in his week 1
That's
game.
absurd.
That's way too many. I thought they were going to be a lot more of a run-heavy team, but if they're really going to try and lean into this Bo Nix is actually the steal of the draft thing, I think it's going to be a long year for them. I mean, I also don't really love their running backs either. Javonte Williams, I feel like, is always hurt. They also have another Jaleel McLaughlin, I think, who some people are excited about. We'll see, but I don't really have the faith that I maybe had a week ago that they could surprise people. I feel like they're just going to be a bad team that might be a little bit pesky and maybe can sneak in a big win or two throughout the season. But I don't think this Sean Payton thing is working out in Denver. And I wouldn't be surprised if this thing maybe not ends this year, but maybe this is the season where things start to get hot for Sean Payton, as he just hasn't lived up to, I think, what the expectations were there in Denver.
We finish off the list when we return, and there is a texter here on the line that has a gripe with us that I'm not really sure why we're heading in that direction. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, venues, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Experience a golf tournament as refined as you are. The Pro Court Championship at Silverado Resort, September 12th through the 15th. Be there as the best of Napa meets the best of the PGA Tour. With world-class wine experiences, breathtaking views, and incredible golf. It's like this weekend was made for you. The Pro Court Championship, September 12th through the 15th. For tickets, go to ProCourtChampionship.com.
What would it take for a plumbing company to earn your trust? Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And let's face it, plumbing and service companies don't always have the best reputation.
So to earn your trust, the first thing they'd have to do is actually answer the phone when you call with a real live person. Then they'd have to send a plumber when you needed them, day or night, without charging extra for emergency services.
A trustworthy plumber would show up on time, wearing a clean uniform and name badge, and be able to show that they had passed a background check and drug test.
A plumber you could trust would give you a firm quote on the job before starting and clean up after they finish the job.
That's exactly the plumber you'll get when you call Bell Brothers, a plumber you can trust. Call Bell Brothers right now for all your plumbing needs. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
High Voltage live boxing action returns to Northern California Saturday, September 21st at the venue at Thunder Valley with Thunder Showdown featuring the undefeated 12th ranked welterweight in the world, Amari Jones, plus Alan Sanchez versus Sal Viceno, and 8 more exciting undercard fights with Maribel Guerrero, Blake McKernan, Gabriel Garcia, Anthony Hernandez, Ruben Torres, Alexander Espinoza, and more. Don't miss the Thunder Showdown September 21st at Thunder Valley. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Fight cards subject to change.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Sacramento State football is back this Saturday for their home opener. The Hornets look to make their 5th straight trip to the postseason as they battle another FCS playoff team from 2023. It's the Hornets versus Nicholls State. Game time at Hornet Stadium, 6 o'clock, and stay for the post-game fireworks show. It's the home opener for Sacramento State football Saturday at 6. Log on to hornetsports.com for tickets. Go Hornets! Stingers up.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
About to finish this list, then get into the NFL teams in the worst situation. But I wanted to read this because, it's funny, Chris, we were talking about social media and talking about old media, new media, and it's really funny. We spent the last segment talking about teams that lost, right? And you said something, Chris, within that, a sub-note in the grander scheme of the segment. And you said, yeah, TJ Watt was looking like JJ Watt. That's all you said.
Mm-hmm.
Just a note, a quip as we talk for 4 hours. A texter and when you text in, that means you're pretty invested, in my opinion, in the show. Texter texts in from the 916, by the way.
Be your own people.
JJ Watt isn't even top 20 all-time sack leader. He isn't as good as you media make him seem. I'm just really curious, 916. Why have you been sitting on that? Why did that Yeah, such a throwaway.
Honestly, it was just a quip.
Has it just had JJ? Because look, JJ annoyed me too.
Yeah, I can't stand JJ. Also, I'm JJ Watt's number one hater. I promise you that.
JJ annoyed me too when he was doing all the JJ stuff. And is that it? Because you've had that in the chamber for years.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here they go. Sacramento radio. I can't stand them. God. They talk about JJ Watt.
You know how we do in Sacramento.
They talk about JJ Watt. Not even top 20 all-time sack leader. He isn't as good as you media. Because Chris and I, we started the narrative of JJ Watt being good.
He's our kind of guy.
When JJ Watt actually was good, I think I probably was in high school, and Chris might have been in diapers. To be completely honest with you.
Well, that's not true.
I know Kyle Ledbetter was.
Yeah. Still is. The defensive end catching touchdowns. Look how cool this is. Wow, should JJ Watt actually play two sides of the ball? Mm-hmm. Is JJ Watt Travis Hunter before Travis Hunter?
Think about it.
Article.
Think about it.
Get out of here.
On sacktownsports.com. Is JJ Watt top 20 of his position?
Is Travis Hunter just trying to be?
But it's
JJ
just,
Watt?
you know what? And that's what's so funny to me because of like the change as we talked about media, how players are now part of the media. Random fans. This 916 might have a podcast. Guess what? 916, if you have a podcast, you're part of media too. And the initial idea of this, I do think the mucking up of media is something that I am a fan of because it's you media said this or you. Who's the media now? Who is the media? DeMar DeRozan said we're all media now.
It's just a big word. I mean, it's just a.
Why would you assume you started the narrative? You guys just talk so highly about JJ Watt. He's not even that good,
brother. I have.
We said one word again, Nate. We can replay it, but we won't waste our time. We will not waste our time. TJ Watt looked like JJ Watt. That's what he said. We don't spend our time talking about JJ Watt. You, for some reason, don't like JJ Watt. And that's fine, but let's not act like we sat here and praised JJ Watt.
We did not do a JJ segment.
I was trashing
Did
on the
I
break.
miss it? I must have been in the bathroom. I missed the JJ Watt segment. I completely missed it.
Yeah.
Well, it's this one now.
Oh, okay. Now he's going to say, all you guys do is talk about JJ Watt.
TJ Watt, I'm going to say TJ Watt on track, if not right now, better than JJ Watt. I'll just say that.
Whoa. Media.
Sure.
JJ
Who
gets
started
hurt too
that
much.
narrative?
TJ's crazy.
I
mean,
did.
I would say TJ's underrated, as crazy as it is.
Yeah, that is because
He's just
every
not
year he's in
talked
the
about.
conversation.
I mean, I think a lot of people bring up Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons, rightfully so, but I just think TJ is absolutely in that conversation, if not deservedly towards the top of that conversation.
It's kind of like, I was gonna say Rudy Gobert, but like that MVP thing where this guy's just constantly, defensive player of the year, but they just fatigue. They won't give it to him every year.
Can't give it to him every year. All right, let's get back into this list, Chris.
All right.
As we ended, I believe, with the Broncos.
Yes, with the Broncos.
And next up, I believe I see the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, we got a good amount of teams left. Jacksonville Jaguars lost 20-17 to Miami the other day. I actually think they look pretty decent, and I think Miami's actually going to be one of the better teams. I have a lot of faith in this Jaguars team. I think they're going to make the playoffs, and I think this is the year Trevor Lawrence not quiets the haters, but I think I think just shows a little bit that he doesn't deserve to be in the bust conversation, and that he's just working through it. And I have a lot of faith in the Jaguars this year, so I'm just gonna wait on this one. I'm gonna hold off judgment on this one so far.
Yeah, look, Trevor Lawrence, we all watched him at Clemson, and we're waiting for him to be that guy. Turns out that draft class was just not very good. He could be the best of that draft class and still not be outstanding. We're going to see. This is a huge season for him. I think they got off to a pretty good start. They took Miami pretty deep at home or on the road in Miami. So I'm not worried about the Jags, especially, you look at that division as well. You got to deal with the Texans and the Colts. The Titans, they're a mess. So I think the Jags might have a shout. I think ultimately the question is going to be, are you guys just going to kind of skate every season, or are you going to take that leap and really be a player?
Yeah, coming up next is the Tennessee Titans, who lost 24-17 to a Bears team that did not score an offensive touchdown. So how are you feeling about the Tennessee Titans this season?
Can we pass on this? I mean, like we said, go get Tannehill or somebody. Mayo Man is a mess. I don't have any feelings. It's hard. It's going to be really hard for me to watch any game with the Titans. If they weren't playing the Bears, I mean, that's money. That percentage of my NFL ticket, I'm willing to just waste. I don't want to watch any Tennessee.
They were up
anything.
17-0 to the Bears.
Yeah.
Again, didn't score an offensive touchdown, still lost. I have no faith in Mayo Man. I don't know what they're doing over there. They fire Mike Vrabel, who seems to be a good coach, and definitely didn't replace him with a better coach. I think that the Titans definitely time to worry. I don't, again, AFC South are going to be a bit of a tougher division as well. I don't know really which direction. Well, I know the direction they're going, and it's down. I just don't know exactly what their plan for the future is. They've already traded off Malik Willis. They have Mayo Man. They now don't have Derrick Henry. I did see the Mayo commercial.
So bad.
Yeah, I just don't really know what direction they're going. I'm out on the Titans. Coming up next, we have the Carolina Panthers, do we even need to waste time?
We'll talk about them in our next segment.
Be concerned. If you're a Panthers fan, be concerned. Cleveland Browns, they lost 33-17 to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's concerning. I don't know overall if I'm concerned about the Browns. I think they'll be scrappy. The Deshaun Watson thing is just a mess in so many different ways. He now has another civil case that pops up this week. And that on top of his terrible, terrible, terrible play on Sunday, it looks like it's going to be a really long season for the Browns. The fact that they played 5 quarterbacks last year and still were able to get to 10 wins makes me feel like they'll be able to figure it out this year, but I don't think they have any real future once they make it to the playoffs. I'm not trusting Deshaun Watson at this point to really win any of their games.
No, unless he can just snap back to whatever before the whole situation happened. We just haven't seen that guy. You got Dan Orlovsky, future friend of the show. You got Dan Orlovsky calling for Jameis Winston. I mean, it's a nightmare. People think that Deshaun Watson has burner accounts out there. It's a complete mess. It's a mess.
It's a mess. It's a complete, utter mess and a failure of a situation by the Cleveland Browns. How about the Green Bay Packers, who now are going to be without Jordan Love for a couple weeks here? Malik Willis, aforementioned, will be their starter until he comes back. They lost 34-29 to the Eagles last Friday. What's the level of concern for the Packers? And this one is really, I think, the most obvious in terms of what the goal here was. Playoffs. It was, look, if you looked at a lot of preseason NFL pundits, a lot of people saying that the Packers were going to be the representative out of the NFC. I think we can both safely say, at least at this moment in time, that's looking shaky to say the least. But I'm a little bit concerned that the Packers might, if they are going to get into the playoffs, if Jordan Love's going to miss 4 or 5 weeks here, I think that they are going to be fighting for that last wild card
they're on
spot.
the road again.
And if they don't get that, I mean, obviously, I just don't see it.
Look, it really hurt them that the Bears were able to win a game which they didn't score a touchdown. And the Vikings, Giants, so you kind of just bake that in. But, you got the Lions. Yeah. The other sexy pick is in your division, so that's a problem. So I think the Packers, they're on missed playoff watch for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I'm at right there. I'm not trying to overreact, but yeah, I really do think the Packers might have, their season is definitely in the balance here. Is if they don't get a win with Malik Willis under center, I just don't know exactly how they're going to find their way to the playoffs, because they're going to have a similar type of run that they had last year. And I don't know. I just feel like that's a really big ask for, like you said earlier, Jordan Love still needs reps out here. And it doesn't seem like he's going to get them anytime soon. Coming up, we have this really, really quick one because we've already talked so much about it. But the Raiders losing 22-10 to the Chargers. This one's a tough one because I don't really, it depends who you ask clearly on what the expectations for the Raiders were this season. But are you concerned about them overall, their outlook for this?
I don't want to tick anybody off today. I've already talked about the Raiders enough. We know what it is. I mean, they got the Ravens next, and I think one of our callers has a bet with Carmichael Dave or something that's going on. So we'll see what happens against the Ravens. This thing could get ugly, or they could surprise. I'm saying, when I say this thing, I mean the outlook of the season could get ugly if this game gets ugly. I think if you're the Raiders, and I hate to even say it like this, but I think if you're the Raiders, you look to get out of there. Just cover. Yeah. Not necessarily win, but you go out there and get embarrassed. This is gonna get dicey. So get out there, just have a respectable game, and get the heck out of Maryland. Buy some Old Bay and just make it to the next week.
What would you guess the spread is on that game?
Ooh.
In Baltimore.
Spreads are always smaller than you think. I'm gonna say 7.5.
It is. Let me double confirm this real quick. Let me tell you that first and foremost, it is the largest spread of the weekend.
10.5. Come on.
Ravens.
No way.
9.5.
Oh,
9.5.
Disrespectful.
With a 41.5 point total. Looks like it's going to be 75 degrees and sunny, or at least cloudy. Weather shouldn't be a factor in that game. So there you go. 9.5 point favorites. The Ravens are on Sunday against the Raiders. And I do think that is a sign that everybody is seeing that the Ravens probably are going to blow them out. They obviously are coming off a pretty big loss to the Chiefs on that Thursday night game. I didn't see much of anything from the Raiders to make me feel good that this week's going to go well. And moving forward, I just don't see them getting more than 5 wins this season. I mean, they have not a super tough opponents, but they do have the Ravens. They play the Browns, they play the Steelers, play the Rams, play the Chiefs twice, play the Bengals, play the Dolphins, play the Bucks, play the Falcons, the Jags, Saints, end the season against the Chargers. Look, I'm trying to be nice to the Raiders, but I just don't see the path to success there for the season.
You're being a hater, man.
Clearly.
No logic behind that. All emotion.
Not at all.
Coming up next, we talk about the NFL teams in the worst situation. Then at 1:00, we give away tickets to see Amari Jones at Thunder Valley Fight Night. That's all coming up. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
I've always believed that golf is more than just a game. It embodies integrity, commitment, and a sense of style. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa, and I'd like to tell you a bit about Naturewood Home Furnishings, a business that shares these same values. With the Procore Championship Professional Golf Tournament happening at the stunning Silverado Resort in Napa, I couldn't help but notice the parallels. Just like the game of golf, Naturewood has built its reputation on integrity, commitment, and timeless style. Looking to bring a unique style into your home? Naturewood offers custom certified designers who can help you craft the perfect look tailored just for you. And while you're enjoying the elegance of the tournament this week, along with Napa's world-class wine and food, be sure to visit Naturewood Home Furnishings. You'll discover pieces with the same sophistication and quality as the game itself. Who knows? You might even find an heirloom that will be passed down for generations. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Just look for the water wheel.
The 90th Annual Marysville Stampede is coming to Marysville's Cotton Rosser Arena this Saturday and Sunday. It's a whole weekend of the best pro rodeo action for the whole family. Bareback, saddle bronc, and bull riding. Plus the BMX motorcycle show. It's just $25 for adults and $15 for kids 4 to 12. The 90th Annual Marysville Stampede, Saturday at 5 p.m. and Sunday at 3:30 p.m. at the Cotton Rosser Arena in Marysville. Get your tickets at MarysvilleStampede.com.
Sacramento Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram off Business 80 next to Hagen Oaks or online SacSuperstore.com. Big inventory and the right deal. Experience it for yourself and see why their customers drive away smiling. It's the Sac Superstore difference.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at MarysvilleStampede.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Still have a couple that we'll go through quickly here. All right, Chris, who are the teams? We can just do it in a bunch.
Okay. We have the 2 New York teams, Jets and Giants. We've got the Rams, and we've got the Commanders.
Okay. It's easy enough. Jets,
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's not the loss. I think it was how they lost that makes me worry about them a little bit. The Giants, they're a complete mess. We know that. And we have the Commanders, who they're early, so I'm not worried about the Commanders. And then who was the last team?
Was it?
They were the Rams.
Rams. Oh, I'm sorry.
Rams. Hey, they'll be fine. The Rams to me kind of similar to who did I say in the AFC? Just a team that's going to get into the playoffs and not really. Who were you talking about? Not the Bengals, but a team that'll get into the playoffs. But what are you going to do? The Browns. The Browns. They'll get in and cool. There it is. So there's the list as we get
the
into
Athletics has to worry about all of those teams for what it's worth.
Mhm.
Rams worry, Jets worry, Giants worry, and Commanders worry.
Yeah, all for different reasons. I wonder why Commanders is interesting to me. I mean,
I guess it's maybe more concerning is that Washington's defense now has new leaders in head coach Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator Joe Witt, exhibited many familiar struggles. Defense failed to get stops on third down and just had one sack and no takeaways, while also playing poor in pass coverage as Baker Mayfield absolutely torched them.
There you go. All right, let's get to the NFL teams in the worst situation. So this is just not even a list, but just some teams that Chris, you and I were talking about, kind of a different version of the Bleacher Report or the athletic teams to worry about. I mean, just the teams in the worst situation. Off the top of my head, Chris, I think if I'm muddling it down, I have 4 teams on my list, but there are 2 teams that are definitely worse. Actually, there's 3 teams that are definitely worse than the others. These are the 5 teams just off the top of my head: Panthers, Browns, Giants, Raiders, and Titans. Those are my 5 teams that are in contention for the worst situation. Okay. I'm going to remove the Browns because I do feel like they are a competent quarterback away from being a player, right? They made the playoffs. So I'm going to remove the Browns. I'm also going to remove the Raiders because I think they're very similar to the Browns in that they are a quarterback away from being respectable. But I look at the Panthers, who just lost, I think it was their all-pro offensive lineman due to injury. I look at the Panthers, I look at the Giants, and I look at the Titans, and those 3 teams, I just feel like they are in just such terrible positions. And I don't know. I mean, if the Panthers could Bryce Young be done after this season? Seriously.
Definitely.
2 years starting.
Yeah. Josh Rosen got much less of a leash.
You know,
why not? Yeah.
I mean, we're still trying to figure, and I don't have with a small child and all the games on, Bryce Young hasn't earned my time, right? Give me a game where there is a ridiculous amount of Bryce Young highlights, and I'll fire you up for NFL ticket the next week. But, have you watched Bryce Young? Well, no, because there's clearly no need to watch Bryce Young. So Bryce Young, the Giants, who I think are more than a quarterback away, and the Titans.
With Bryce Young, you guys think he's running out of time here. Do you mean in the NFL in general, or do you think the team's going to take? Oh, okay. So you don't think he'd be a backup? You don't think anyone's going to give him a shot to?
I
just because of the size.
Someone will let him be a backup.
The tangibles are too poor to bring him in as a backup?
I think someone will definitely bring him in as a backup.
Sure.
I mean, especially in the NFL, you get so many shots at life before you're officially out. I'm sure someone will give him a chance.
Yeah, if Trey Lance is still hanging around.
Carson Wentz, where is he? Isn't he backing up Mahomes?
I think he's in Kansas City.
Yeah. And that guy has no working legs, I don't think.
What's your list, Chris?
Yeah, I broke mine up into 2 different categories. I have one as we took the wrong guy, and the other one is what are we doing here? Took the wrong guy is kind of obviously, as it says, kind of like you were saying. They have a quarterback, but I just think the option they went with was not the right guy to go with. The Panthers, obviously, with Bryce Young, I think they're still deserving of this list because they did trade their picks as well, so they don't really have a clear and obvious path to get out of this Bryce Young situation. And we've seen that, if you don't have a young quarterback, you get stuck with the Raiders, who are in my what are we doing here, where you have a Gardner Minshew, you have a Jimmy Garoppolo, you have these holdovers. And at what point are you going to actually solve the problem of having a deficiency at the most important position in sports? So I don't know really how the Panthers get out of that. Giants, similar thing as the Browns. I have the Browns in the took the wrong guy category. Obviously, Daniel Jones and Deshaun Watson. The reason why I have them on the list and won't take them off is they paid them. There's no way of getting out of it. It's worse than being in the Panthers situation. At least the Panthers aren't dropping top dollar and haven't locked themselves into these guys. The Giants have signed Daniel Jones to the extension. The Browns gave Deshaun Watson a richer contract than anyone had ever gotten in NFL history before he ended up hitting the field again. Those guys are completely screwed. There's not really much of a way to get out of the financial pit that they've put themselves into, or the asset pit that the Panthers have put themselves into. And then with the what are we doing here? Again, the Raiders, I know exactly, you're right. Like, the Raiders have the best path of getting out of this situation because it is really just sucking for this season and then getting your quarterback of the future. But even then, you have to suck this season. And again, I don't know really what the team around him is going to be when they do bring in that quarterback. Will Devontae Adams still be there? All the timelines are off. I do like having 2 young tight ends for that quarterback eventually, but also you got to nail the quarterback, right? Again, or else you're just in the position of the Panthers where you took the wrong guy. And even for sure bets like Trevor Lawrence end up not being home run hits in the way that we just assume they will be. And then my other two teams, I have the Titans for everything you said. Kind of a little bit like the Raiders. They don't have a quarterback. They don't really know what, and if the quarterback is Mayo Man, Will Levis, I just don't know what direction you're really going to go, because he's just not that good, and I don't really see much potential for him. I have the Cardinals on here too, because I think they're the worst organization in sports. Again, I will continue to point towards that the player survey that they send out every year. Cardinals are perennially bottom when it comes to how they treat their players, to their workroom facilities, to their locker room facilities, to how they everything. The entire organization always gets some of the worst grades. And then the quarterback position, Kyler Murray, he's a good quarterback, right? We know he's talented, but what exactly has that gotten them? Nothing really at all. And Marvin Harrison being great definitely would probably help, but I just don't really know how that team is coming together. They obviously blow the Isaiah Simmons pick a couple years ago as well. Like, I just don't really know exactly where the Cardinals are going to take their leap.
So I just got this. This is from Underdog, and this came out about an hour ago, talking about Kyler Murray. And listen to how terrible this quote is. Okay. As we were just railing the Cardinals. Kyler Murray on only targeting Marvin Harrison Jr. 3 times in week 1. Here's this quote. "Sometimes the ball goes to him, but that's not my job. I leave that up to Drew," talking about Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator. That's terrible.
And quarterback says it's not his responsibility to get the ball to receiver.
So bad.
Is that, I mean, it's definitely in the same tier. How does that compare for you to the Shador comments? Because to me, it is very much the same of just like, okay, but that's still kind of your responsibility. You're just blame shifting, really. Is what the problem is.
And he's not a leader of men.
Yeah, exactly.
That's been the issue.
Yep.
That's been the issue.
Especially with Kyler. Yeah. I mean, people have always wondered kind of Kyler's leadership mentality and just exactly what he brings to a locker room, and comments like that is not going to help.
Yeah, this all is starting to come out. All the other platforms are starting to talk about it. Man. But yeah. And quote again, just in case anyone missed it, "Sometimes the ball goes to him, but that's not my job. I leave that up to Drew."
I just can't imagine anybody else say like that. Is just, it's just absolutely insane. I mean, I hear what he's saying. Absolutely. I understand he's saying it's on the coordinator to essentially give him favorable routes and things like that. And yeah, routes that are plays, I guess, that have him as the primary receiver. But at the end of the day, that still is 100% to me. Kyler Murray's responsibility is to sometimes you forego the play and you just say, let me give the ball to my playmaker.
Curious whether or not they have a relationship. Drew Petzing became the offensive coordinator in 2023, where Kyler Murray was coming back from ACL. So they didn't play together. And now this is their first season together. And that's what Kyler Murray is saying. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And maybe he should have stuck to baseball. Coming up next, we have the top stories at the top of the hour. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, Go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room. And guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park for Country in the Park 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Carmelie.
I want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich. Dasha. And more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPfest.com. Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
The TaylorMade Tour Van is a one-stop shop for PGA Tour players to get their clubs to exact specifications. And now you can get the same experience at Hagen Oaks when the TaylorMade Tour Van brings their fitting skills to you. On September 20th and 21st, you can be fitted at Hagen Oaks and have your clubs built by the TaylorMade Tour Van. A $25 fitting fee is refundable with any club purchase. Whether you're interested in the QI-10 or P770, call 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 to reserve your spot.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
15 minutes. If you are on the app, you're going to want to switch over. Amari Jones, undefeated, 12-0. We still got our fight stories coming up as well. And we will get into our top stories at the top of the hour. But first, if you talk about someone, and Chris and I, we were getting used to we were just doing crosstalk, and we heard about what happened in the morning, and, you know, we weren't really sure where this all came from. I was, because I was here on Monday, but, you know, if somebody gets brought up, we want to give them a chance to kind of talk about their side or whatever it is. And we have Frank here who has been waiting, and he wants to be a part of the conversation. So 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can join on in. But Frank is back. Frank, Stiles Watkins, what you got for us?
Okay, I got three things for you. Don't hang up on me. Let me explain myself to you.
Okay.
And then I'll let you hear your opinion.
Okay.
First of all, why should I listen to anything about football about you guys? You said the Carolina Panthers lost their best offensive lineman. Wrong. They lost their best defensive player. Why are the Rams? You say the Rams are going to make the playoffs. Wrong. I don't think so. Big, major offensive line problems. Defense is shaky.
But it's not wrong yet because the playoffs haven't happened yet.
They can't protect Stafford.
But that's your opinion, though, right? Just like I have mine.
Which you're wrong.
But you're right.
Let him talk, Alex.
Okay, sorry.
And third thing, Deshaun Watson is just a plain weirdo. That's the worst trade ever in the NFL.
Frank, what about your Raiders bets you were telling me about that I screened your call for?
Oh, my Raiders? Oh, I'm betting the money line and taking the points, and they're covering both. I went 12-1 last week gambling, dude.
Was that one loss the Raider game?
Yep, that was it. And
kind of seems like you have a blind spot.
No, Monday night I took the Niners -3.5 money line. Friday, I took the Eagles money line point spread.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
All right, that's it then. We're done with that.
Yeah.
That's over because that's nonsense. I know something happened with Dave this morning.
Yes.
That's
Well,
done.
truthfully, I was walking up the stairs and I saw Bryce Young, and they added Bryce Young. They said things get worse for Carolina. And I thought I read offensive lineman. Hey, Frank was right. He was a defensive player. So I thought I was down and out, Chris. You're talking about fights.
Yeah.
Frank came in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep it 1,000.
Not going to lie.
Frank came in.
Yep.
Had us in the first half. He got me with the head body. I said, shoot, he's right.
Step back.
Because I did quickly look at it. And then he follows up with the Rams aren't making the playoffs because I said so.
Yeah.
I felt like I was talking to Baby Styles.
Well, yeah, and that's so my job back here is to screen the call, check what they want to talk about. Yeah. None of that, what he started with, was what he wanted to talk about.
Well, and
it changes sometimes.
Yes.
Because the conversation, because you're on hold for 10 minutes, they're changing what they're talking about.
Let's be honest. Look, let's be honest. He was 2 for 3. He called me out on number 1, the Rams.
Swing
sure,
and a miss.
But number 3, Deshaun Watson is weirdo.
You're not getting any. There's no counter.
If you think I'm going to sit here and say you're wrong,
that's normal, bro.
Yeah, I like my job, Frank.
Get your punch cards filled.
What did you guys say about Deshaun Watson's positive?
I don't know.
It's only been negative Deshaun Watson on this show.
Frank, that was great stuff. That was great stuff.
I think it's over.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
And it's week 1, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It is week 1. All right, Nate. Let's get that music
Doesn't
going.
have a blind spot, though.
Yeah.
Not at all. 12-1's very impressive.
Let's get into the
Get those receipts.
Top stories.
Mail them into the station.
Top feelings over facts, Nate, always.
Top stories of the day. And then we will, on the other side, 1:15, we have our ticket giveaway. Hang out with me and Nate, eat some ribeyes.
Dude,
all right.
The YouTube chat, I'm sorry. They love Frank so much.
You're saying it's over.
We
It's not
literally
over.
came into the show today, and the SAC chat was just on. They didn't want to hear anything but, can Frank call back?
I love the SAC chat so much.
Yeah.
They're so funny.
There you go. All right, guys. 15 years ago, photographer Stefan Savoya shot the iconic photo of Michael Jordan just as he was about to be enshrined into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. And the crying Jordan meme was born 15 years ago. That's
Crazy.
That's been going on. I mean, it's over now, right? I mean, and I'm kind of, it lasted a long time. It lasted a long time, but the crying meme is over. I know both of you guys like to mess with a little bit of what. Cropping and making memes. I'm sure you both use the crying meme before,
What do you mean,
right?
you people?
Both of you.
Yeah, of course. It's timeless. I mean, it's great.
Photoshop.
I think
I'm good at that.
You put crying Jordan face as the sun or something. It's always it's gonna hit every time.
Every time.
It's so good, and I guess I feel bad for Michael Jordan that his sadness is everybody else's joy, but
He's kind of a jerk, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't hear that he's the softest person.
Well, he wasn't. If I'm not, that was when he got enshrined, so he wasn't sad.
But also,
no, I mean it's just
emotional.
It's just a very vulnerable moment that you
Yes.
probably don't want everybody for the rest of your life, showing that.
You know what was another one like that?
Oh, I think I was going to say it.
What? Practice?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was
Got a
going to say,
different
well,
one.
the Allen Iverson thing, he reacted that way because I think a friend had died recently, and that's why he was basically saying we're talking about practice, and I'm dealing with
something
a lot of stuff going on.
I did not know that part of the story. Interesting. I was going to say sequel's never as good as the original. You had Durant, 6 years later, whatever, with the MVP.
Oh, you
crying.
the real MVP.
That meme, I may have saw that one more than Jordan.
But you didn't
maybe?
put his head
You're the real
on
MVP,
stuff.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sequel's never as good as the original, but it's pretty good.
There you go. All right. Next up on the top stories at the top of the hour, Shaq says no one is hating on Caitlin Clark and that she needs to wait her turn.
Stop it.
He says, I understand what everyone's doing. Yeah, you're great, but you ain't that great yet. Calm down.
Oh.
We still got Diana Taurasi. We still got Asia Wilson. If you're going to give Caitlin props, make sure our girls that are dominating in this league get the same props. Loudmouths like Chuck are talking about hating. It's not hating. It's like, you're good, but let's slow it down a notch. As good as Caitlin Clark is, we've had a lot of young ladies who have been doing good and not getting props. People like props, and they want to feel good when you're talking about their league. It's not hating. Everybody has to wait their turn. Do you feel like, Chris, kind of similar, honestly, to the Brock Purdy thing in a different way, both Iowa State, but do you feel like it has moved from stop hating on Caitlin Clark, stop hating on Caitlin Clark, and really people aren't hating on her as much as they were? Or do you still think there's a lot of hate out there?
No, I don't. I definitely don't think there's a lot of hate out there anymore, especially because there's just not much to hate on. I just think Shaq's comments are a little bit interesting because I don't think you would say the same thing about the men's side. Like, who has ever been like, Victor Wembanyama, like he's just absolutely incredible. But if you're going to be talking about Victor Wembanyama, you got to bring up LeBron James, right? You just have to, because
it's different though to me.
It's just I don't know. I just don't really see it as much different. Like
this platform, it's a platform that they haven't had, and that becomes the argument of, well, this platform comes based on how compelling or exciting a player was. So I do think it's a little different between the NBA and WNBA.
I get it. I get that it is different. I just think that in general, though, like I guess I'm more thinking of it from a media side of things and not from like I don't know. I mean, I think that there's definitely room for you to say somebody's doing great, and I don't think you have to acknowledge everybody is more what I'm saying.
Right.
I think I don't see what's wrong with only acknowledging Caitlin Clark.
Sure.
Because again, I think that the WNBA is in a spot where beggars cannot be choosers. Like if you're upping Caitlin, I think it's doing so well for the league in general. It's any publicity is good publicity. More is what I'm saying for something like that, where I won't say any publicity, but if you're talking about Caitlin, at least that's talking about the WNBA versus. I'm not going to ask you if you're going to bring up Caitlin, then you have to bring up every single other person, or else don't talk about the sport.
Well, I think the problem is we can't talk about this quote as if it's one thing. Number one, he's saying people aren't hating on Caitlin anymore, and number two, he's talking about give other women their props. So he's saying a lot to just try to say your side or my side is what is correct. Okay, last but not least, Rory and Mal for the hip-hop heads out here as we continue the saga of Lil Wayne and Jay-Z playing the Super Bowl. Rory and Mal used to be on the Joe Budden podcast, and now they have their own thing. That didn't end up too well with Joe Budden, but they're pretty successful themselves on their own. And I think it's Rory. One of them is a huge Drake fan, and he dropped this out of nowhere, and even his co-host had not heard of it before, and it just kind of stinks a little bit. This is what he had to say.
That's family? Or are you on the other side with OVO and boycotting? Like turning off the TV when halftime comes?
No, it's the reason why, because again, Kendrick is one of the ones that eventually would have had a halftime. So now, the sticky part about all of this is Drake has been offered this Super Bowl show for some years now and has turned it down. Probably 4 years he's been offered to perform at Super Bowl. Said no for whatever reason. Whatever reason, he just didn't.
Did he tell you that, or is that like a known thing?
I didn't know that.
I've never heard that either.
What?
Drake said no.
Well, he has. Drake has turned down the Super Bowl a few years.
Why do you think he's turned it down? Because that's really
I don't know.
interesting to me.
I don't know why he would turn it down. I mean, that's up to the artist, their discretion. Maybe I'm on the road right.
So that's Mal from Rory and Mal. And he's a huge Drake fan. And Chris, I'm telling you, something stinks there.
Yeah, it's the glazing. That's what it is.
A couple years for a number of years now. Give me a break.
It's just not true. I mean, it's not insane. True. It's absolutely insane. It'd be like if somebody said, I actually won the lottery, but I turned it down because there's so many problems that come with that money, and I just figured, honestly, I just bought a ticket. I wasn't even really expecting to win, and so I figured it should go to somebody who actually wants to win the lottery.
I went 12-1 on my Raiders picks last week.
It's just not true. And I think the funniest thing is Drake literally has a song, First Person Shooter, big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But he's turned down the Super Bowl. Not once.
No, multiple
Chris,
times.
Multiple times. Just take the L and go.
Yeah.
Just take your.
There's no way that's true.
There's no way that's true.
And this is not going well for Drake. I know Drake probably doesn't actually care about this, but you know if your minions are out here fighting making ridiculous claims like this, and Academics has also said some wild stuff as well, pretty much in this same lane.
But I expect that from him.
It's just it looks desperate, and it definitely does not look like it's not helping your case for winning this battle that you have between Kendrick. It just looks worse.
Yeah, coming up next, we go over our picks from last week, and we have some fun with some fight stories. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
Going deep down the sideline for Are You? He's got it, and he's gone. 10, 5, touchdown! San Francisco! Ayuk is on fire!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb. They say the hardest part of getting something done is getting started. Well, we did that 30 years ago when California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down 60%, lung cancer 42%. A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible, it's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at marysvillestampede.com.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys, live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus, view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It is time for the Thunder Showdown Show giveaway. Amari Jones at Thunder Valley with the Tundra. September 21st.
Swamp.
In the swamp. You better be there with Nate and Alan, possibly Chris.
Alan's friend.
Get a ribeye. Alan's friend. Get it medium.
Is he the one who's mean to me?
No. I was gonna ask him. I was actually gonna ask him, but I just saw him. So it's not him this time. Okay. This September, Feel the Thunder. He was in the chat, I think yesterday, and he was nice to you. So this September, Feel the Thunder with the ultimate high voltage live boxing event. You have to see to believe. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now, looking for caller number 2. Caller number 2 to score today's pair of tickets to the Thunder Showdown only at Thunder Valley Casino Resort, September 21st. That is coming up less than 2 weeks away. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140. Now, I do want to wait, Chris, because Nate's...
Oh, hold on.
Nate's handling the...
It's got the winner on air. Hey!
That's
going?
old school.
Yeah,
That's
hey,
old school.
trivia question.
You get this right. You get the tickets.
Yeah.
So I want to wait, Chris. Okay. We can start to go over our picks because I definitely want Nate available for my fight story.
Okay, for sure. Well, then I can follow up on something I mentioned earlier, the Shrek movie, Shrek 5.
Oh.
It is coming out if you check the Shrek Instagram page. Not too far away. Shrek 5 is coming to theaters July 1st, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Full cast, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz all make returns. So there you go, Shrek 5, the movie I don't think anybody was asking for.
Did you see that Happy Gilmore? Did you see that Bad Bunny?
Yeah, I did. He's going to
Happy-
be in it. Not sure what exactly that movie, like, what is even the plot? I mean, this is why we need Verlad here a little bit later in the day. What is the plot of Happy Gilmore?
Well,
2
let's
at
think
this
about
point?
how it ends with him winning all the money and getting
Right.
grandma's house back, and
Right.
Chubbs is waving with the alligator. Yeah, I don't know.
Does he go on tour?
He's
Is
got to
he,
have
like,
a kid.
Retired? Yeah. Does he?
My
have a
thought is they
kid?
have a kid, because at this point, where is this whole thing set?
Where is it going?
I
Yeah.
saw.
So it kind of becomes like a Cobra Kai situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I did see Shooter is also going to be in it.
Okay.
So maybe they both have sons.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
maybe.
I think I could see that.
I don't want it, but
yeah, I think that's the problem, is that it's got to be. Then it's also not the same vibe, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, like, Happy Gilmore has a very specific vibe, and it's.
But I'm just making
hilarious,
that up.
but I just don't know,
This could be towards the end of their careers,
Yeah.
right? He could still be playing.
It depends. Yeah, it depends how old how
Right.
young can you make them look? How realistic could it be? I mean, golf. I guess if
is-
anything, maybe they could just be on the senior tour. Something like that. Maybe there's a some big golf tournament that they're both trying to win or something. I don't know. Has Happy been continually golfing? Did he hang it up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Tough
Nate,
for
we
Adam
got a
Sandler
winner.
today.
There were a lot of callers today.
Sure, it's going to be at the nicest course.
Yeah, excuse me. I had to throw something away. It is Sack Chatter Amid Rock. Amid Rock. It depends how you
there you go.
pronounce it. Yeah, it's Amid Rock.
Congrats.
I'm stoked. I love when the Sack Chatters call in, and they deserve more love.
And I watched. It was random. I did watch. I watched.
Oh, it
the numbers
was.
come
I
in.
didn't know it was. Yeah, I didn't know it was him.
Yeah, I watched it come in. Okay, well, quickly.
No lawsuits here.
There you go. Quickly, I got to tell you guys my story.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah, this is a good one. We're talking about boxing.
Okay.
Combats.
How tall is this guy?
Well, no, I'm getting to it. So this was in
How do you know
college.
it's a guy?
That's actually pretty good.
It's a dog.
All right. So it's a Friday or Saturday night, right? And it's one of those nights where we're getting after it. There's no game the next day, so we're getting after it.
Swim was out.
Swim was out, right? And we were partying, and we end up at this fraternity's house, right?
Okay.
This fraternity's house. And houses in Philly, they look like rectangles. They're very up and down. They're very tall, but not a lot
Not
of width.
wide,
Yes,
yeah.
not wide at all. So there's stairs. You know what I mean? So one of our buddies, we went out, we're partying, have a good time. We come back. The place was, down the street from our house. We noticed one of our friends is gone. One of our friends is gone
From the house.
One of our teammates is gone.
Okay.
So we have to find. We're thinking, where is he? Where is he? So we figure he's still at the house, right? So we go back right to the house, or actually, before we get back to the house, he comes in and his shirt is all torn up.
Oh,
and he says, talking to the wrong person, or the wrong
Gotcha.
person. And the other person saw, and he gets thrown down the stairs, right?
Oh,
He's
that
thrown
could
down the
kill
stairs.
you.
You got Chazzy Jeff.
He got thrown down the
Chazzy
stairs.
Jeff.
So of course, we got to mount up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got to mount up. We say, what in the world, man? We're going back over there. So we all go back over
What
there.
in the world?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Yep. Said, gee, Willikers.
That's right. So we go over there.
It is like an episode of Fresh Prince. You're Carlton.
And we get out, and we're in front of the house. We're like, yo, what's
You
up?
just start yelling at the house.
Yeah. Well, because we said, hey, we're trying to see what's up. And they're like, we're not.
Yeah.
You're not coming outside. You're not coming upstairs. So they come down here. They come to us.
Yeah. As they shouldn't let you in their house.
So we're all out there. And as I'm just
The baseball
I'm
guys
talking,
are outside.
I'm talking mess. All of a sudden, I'm from Oakland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up.
Big hold me back energy.
I grew up 20 minutes outside of Oakland.
With an asterisk.
I grew up in Concord, but in this situation, I'm from
They
Oakland.
don't know the difference.
And
It's
this
all
guy
California to them.
starts staring at me. This guy, he's going at least 6'1".
And this is in
6'1".
Pennsylvania.
This is in PA. This is in Philly.
This is in Philly.
Hard. We going hard, right? Meek Mill was around the corner.
And this is the baseball team, right?
Yes, this is us in the baseball team. It was in the fall, so no games yet. Some guy looks at me. What are you looking at? 5'9".
Oh,
what are you looking at?
Were you wearing a jersey?
Yeah. I'll get to that.
You start blushing.
So I'm like, yeah. In my mind, I'm like, oh, this is lit. But outside, I'm thinking, you're not gonna just.
I gotta put the front on.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, whoa, buddy. Trust me, you don't want these problems. You don't want these problems. So he was 6'1", but I think my body type. I had a better build than him, but he was tall. So I got him on the ground, right? So now
so this happened.
This happened. So I won't go into detail because I want to get in trouble. But
Who
got
swung
him
first?
Yeah. Huh?
You
Who
initiated?
Who initiated?
He was talking trash
No,
to
the
me.
physical contact.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know.
All I
Okay,
know
yeah, I can't
is
remember.
I got homeboy on the ground. I did what I needed to do. Somebody was like, hey, we got to get out of here. We start going out of here. And as we're going away, I'm running. Yeah, that's the last time you mess with the Temple hockey team. And someone goes, we know you play baseball. you live around the corner. And that was it.
That's the most Allen thing I've ever heard in my life. I knew you would yell too.
Undefeated, just like Amari Jones. Never lost.
Oh man. See, at least you were there to back it up. Though.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna be if you're gonna be like the vocal instigator,
He
you
had the
can't
reach.
not be somebody.
He had the reach, but you
had
reach,
that
I
density,
teach.
You get the
bro.
inside
That's
pocket
right.
though.
I can squat.
Yeah, you know.
You reach, I teach.
I can squat.
There you go.
You watch enough MMA fights and you learn size does not matter.
There you go. You reach, I teach. I had to tell you guys, don't mess with the Temple
What's
hockey
up,
team.
5'9"?
Yeah, well, I was like,
Whoa.
I'm like, whoa. I measured myself that night.
You want to go grab a beer, dude?
Yeah. After.
Yeah.
I actually saw him like
That
a couple
is a
months later
bro
walking
thing.
around
So
the
awkward.
campus with
Yeah.
his like parents. And I'm like, I don't think he knows. He don't remember who I am. Because I took you down.
What if he was with his parents and went, hey, 5'9", what's up? Hey, how's hockey going?
Hey, yeah, how's hockey? Good, man.
Yeah,
good, man.
season
I'm
just
the
kicked
points
up.
leader,
Yeah.
A lot going on there. All
Come
right,
check out one of our games.
coming up next, we go over our picks and we have some more fun before the rest of the show ends. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Sacramento State football is back this Saturday for their home opener. The Hornets look to make their 5th straight trip to the postseason as they battle another FCS playoff team from 2023. It's the Hornets versus Nicholls State. Game time at Hornet Stadium, 6 o'clock, and stay for the post-game fireworks show. It's the home opener for Sacramento State football Saturday at 6. Log on to hornetsports.com for tickets. Go Hornets! Stingers up.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop Prints That Pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain.
Dr. Pamela Maida is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
Good Feet Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain.
Investing in youth arch supports for your child or team is one of the best decisions you can make.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for Ram Power Days?
Well, 2024 is almost over, so we figured we'd get a head start with big savings on brand new 2025 Ram 1500s. Right now, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on the brand new and very nicely updated 2025 Ram 1500s, starting as low as $37,780.
I want to make sure I heard you right. You said 2025, as in next year's models, and you're already giving $15,000 off?
You heard that right. Plus, with all the upgrades Ram has made on the 1500s, this is the best Ram yet.
Test drive the best Ram truck yet at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. See our whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection, nobody beats Hoblet, period. 15,000 total net savings after 10,500 factory rebates and 4,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 3,000 in Hoblet Select inventory coupons and 2,000 Hoblet trade-in assistant coupons. Must have qualifying trade-in. At least 5 of this net savings. Coupons only available while supplies last. See dealer for details.
It's the home opener for Sacramento State Hornets this Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff versus Nichols. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, 30 more minutes with you. It's been another fun one. This week is flying by, and, you know, time flies when you're having fun.
I just realized something as we are about to go over our picks from last week. Frank said he was 12-1. There's no way homeboy picked the Patriots over the Bengals.
No way.
There's
Unless he
0%.
picked them to cover.
Maybe.
Did he pick against the Raiders? Yeah, I guess it was.
He said his only loss was the
Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or
Sorry.
13. Yeah.
But yeah, I was just looking at it and I was like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way anybody picked that.
No.
No. The Survivor League. Are you guys in the Survivor League yet?
What was the other
Okay.
What was the other surprising one?
The Bills almost lost it, but the other big surprise, you could say, let's see.
Let's say the
here.
Panthers losing that bad.
No.
That bad though, 47.
I mean, that was probably the biggest upset itself. Maybe depending on Seahawks Broncos, how you felt about that.
I was just trying to think if there was a
not really another huge
Okay.
one. I guess maybe Bears Titans, but I wouldn't consider that massive.
No.
Oh, Falcons Steelers.
Oh yeah, the Falcons. Yeah,
Falcons,
and I
Steelers.
don't.
There you go.
I guess
I think that's pretty big.
I guess it's possible. I guess that one you could convince yourself.
It's
but
possible, but not probable.
yeah, nothing was as surprising as Patriots.
No, not even close. Yeah.
So, how did we fare? I know, Chris, you're tallying them up right now. I was so mad at myself. There was a couple that I just thought. I felt like there was one or two where, I thought, oh man, I almost had that one. That Raiders one, I'm be honest, I was really glad I didn't pick with my heart there.
Yeah. Chris did. Chris picked with his heart and it worked.
You know,
we both took the Vikings, which was a little crazy at the time. You know,
some would say, but
no,
they
I
pulled
took
through.
I took the Giants for some odd reason.
Well, looking back, sure, odd. You might think that, but I mean, it's kind of like the Giants might be the second worst team in football.
So then, yeah, my Giants pick that evened out for Chris's. So Nate, how you might be winning?
No, I'm not.
No,
I counted these up yesterday. I don't know if we want to spoil it, but
Yeah.
Okay, I believe what What happened was I got last place. I had 7 correct. You guys tied at 10.
The stupid Giants. What a dumb pick.
Yeah,
So
you
that-
would have won actually. Yeah, jeez.
But then, Chris took Commanders over the Bucks, so you taking the Bucks was the right move. And then that's kind of your guys' only real variation there. Besides those two, I just was trying to be Texans Colts. Chris took the Colts.
Right. So how did I
tried?
How did I lose? How did we tie? Which ones did I give back to Chris? I'm thinking.
Let's double check.
I'm thinking
you might have came up on top here. Let's see here.
My Giants one was wrong.
Nate, you picked the Cardinals. What?
Yeah, because I didn't want the Bills to win. Dude, it wasn't even that bad.
No, it wasn't. You ended up almost.
Why didn't you want the Bills?
Well,
to
here's
win?
okay. So in
surprise of the
hindsight, some of
century.
these look really bad. But remember my thought process last year, the Bills blew it against the Jets with no Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Or with no Aaron Rodgers and just had Zach Wilson. And yesterday I had a stat up comparing week one's Aaron Rodgers versus Zach Wilson last year and this year. They were eerily similar. It was not the greatest look. I was shocked to see Aaron's PFF grade so high.
I figured out how we got tied because you picked the Browns. You picked the Browns instead of the
Oh
Cowboys.
no!
Oh, yeah, that one screwed you. That one screwed you. Deshaun.
The weirdo. You believe. The weirdo.
Oh, you said he wasn't a weirdo.
He's a listener.
You're his burner account.
Oh man, you hate to see it.
Idiot.
Oh, man.
Idiot. That is so stupid.
Oh man, you had it all and you blew it.
That's so stupid.
I mean, besides that, you picked. Yeah, besides that, we were pretty much all in line. And yeah,
So
that's the
stupid.
one that evened it out for you. So almost. Maybe next week.
But you picked the Commanders?
I picked the Commanders. That definitely ended up hurting me. But I did pick the Cowboys, so that helped me a lot. And
The Commanders pick isn't that crazy. Wasn't that crazy at the time.
The Browns
Rookie.
pick wasn't that crazy.
No, we didn't
No, it
think
wasn't.
Deshaun
It
was going to be that bad.
No,
it wasn't crazy.
He's just gone
figured,
worse.
what is this, his second or third year with the Browns? This third.
Barely.
I think 2.5.
Well, he's suspended an entire year, right?
Do you think he's going to finish the
Or not
season
an
with
entire
the
year.
Are they just going to eat it this season?
I don't think they have a choice, right?
Their
But I'm
cap-
saying, do you think they'll?
Their
to
cap
Jameis?
is screwed, so they can't really move on from him.
Yeah.
Essentially, I don't. Again, cap talk is so hard because we're not cap wizards here. But from what I understand, the cap is a major problem if they want to really get rid of him, move on. But I think Jameis, I think Orlovsky is on some future friend of the show. Dan Orlovsky
That's
is
right.
on something.
I could see it. I mean, it's going to get to a point where, again, they say, well, we were very successful last season with Joe Flacco as our quarterback. I mean, we had literally the who's that of quarterbacks, and they still managed to win 10 games. If they feel like we aren't on track and we have our 30, whatever, I don't even know what, $50 million plus per year quarterback, why not? I mean, why? Jameis, we know what Jameis is. He's not a bad quarterback, but he definitely, he can get it done, but he definitely is incredibly turnover worthy, but at least he can get the ball moving,
Yes.
right? Deshaun is throwing the ball backwards. He's
It's
making
crazy.
dumb decisions left and right. I could definitely see how it would get to that point.
I don't even know. And I was, going
It's a sunk cost.
watching, just wear it. And I was watching the game, and you don't even see that man throw the ball forward. It's just bizarre.
It's so weird. I need an untold Netflix documentary.
That's
on
what
it.
I'm
That's
saying,
what I was
man.
thinking. I'm like, somebody
And
at
another
some
suit
point has
came
to
out.
figure this out.
Did you see
Yes,
that?
yes.
Another
Chris
suit
mentioned
came
it.
out.
Yeah. That was yesterday, right?
It was earlier this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
That it came out. Yeah.
Just insanity.
It's just, I mean, it's a situation that keeps getting worse, really. I mean, from the fact that yet another civil suit is now popping up to the fact that he just continues to play worse and worse and worse and not show any signs of getting better. And, I really do think it's going to be a fascinating tale that's going to be told when this thing is all said and done. This is not an injury. This is not anything besides the fact that this guy went through an incredibly public I don't even know what we call it at this point. Scandal, definitely, but that feels like it only scratches the surface of what we've been dealing with. It's really all is just mental for him, right? Like there was no physical ailments that really changed his play. It is just he went through this long saga of a scandal, and he comes out on the other side. And well, I guess we're maybe not even to the other side of it, but once he starts playing, it's just very clear that he is not the same guy that he was before.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man. And we're definitely gonna get.
I've never seen anything like it.
Well, it's not even that we know what the story is. It's just a matter of how he tried to convince himself that it was okay. I mean, I don't, not to get into it,
There's
but
a lot to it.
It's just insane.
Well, you said there was no major injury, Chris. He's had
a couple.
So he had an ACL tear
yeah.
Before the NFL. He had one in 2014 and one in 2017. He has back problems, and then rotator cuffs have been recently like arm and shoulder stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when he throws,
but the ACL tear
kind of weird.
The ACL tear, he came back from that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Came back and played well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Crazy. Real quick, I'm just looking here because we have on the 4-letter network.
Yeah.
And this guy, he is a reporter at ESPN. And I saw this and I had to double check it. Honestly, his name is Ben Baby. BenBaby. His name is Ben Baby.
Mr. Baby.
Reporter.
Hello,
Mr. Baby.
Mr. Baby.
His name is Mr. Baby.
So he's a real boss baby.
He could be.
He really could be. Dr. Baby.
Yeah, they were giving some updates
on. This is just a funny thing. It just popped up. George Kittle had to wear an Iowa State helmet today in the locker room.
No Guardian cap.
No, he just no Guardian cap, but he clearly him and Brock had a friendly wager for the Iowa State.
Brock just stays winning, man.
Stays winning.
Except the big one, right, Alan? Right, Alan?
Well, I hope.
Hey, tell him.
Hey, you know what I got? I need Brock to do his thing this season.
Yeah, you need not them to win the Super Bowl.
I have
he
two.
does. He does need that.
Swim does.
Swim. Yes, I have to talk to Swim about it. That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
Coming up next, Whitey Gleason joins us here in the Tundra. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand clutch makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park for Country in the Park 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee.
I want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich. Dasha. And more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino. Sign up for Sky River Rewards, and you'll get $15 free play to use on your first visit. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun with rewards that add up and up. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Where do you go when you need someone to represent you? For me, you want someone that is local and that you can actually get to and talk with. There are plenty of big branded lawyers out there with the name, but you never get to talk to them. So go to saclegaldefense.com and connect with the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez. He's local, he'll represent you, and he'll have your back. Whether it's expungements, wrongful termination, when you're in a spot when you need legal help, call the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez at 916-304-9187.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sponsored by Xfinity Internet. Enjoy ultimate control of your home network. Personalize your Wi-Fi name and password. Assign user profiles. View and control connected devices and more with the Xfinity Internet app.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
So we have on the TVs here. We're here with Whitey Gleason. I got a question for you. All right now, and I know football is pizza. I know. But here's my question. Would you rather watch Titans-Panthers or pickleball?
Titans-Panthers.
Come on.
If football is pizza, then what is baseball? What is basketball?
Well, football is pizza because everyone says there's no such thing as bad pizza. But I disagree. But yeah, Titans. I got to think. Is there a worse combination to tempt you to watch pickleball?
I'm probably not watching pickleball over the NFL, Alan. I'm sorry. I get your point, though.
You get my point.
But it's also true.
Tennis?
That thing that people say, oh, there's never a bad game. Football's not boring. You watch two teams. We've all done it. You know, those annual, it seemed like weekly Thursday night games between, it's the Titans and the Jags when they were both terrible, you know, and it's like a 10-10 game and no one's moving the ball. It's dreadful.
That's right.
It's like any other sport. When it's not played well, it's hard to watch.
That's right. That's right. And we were talking during the break just with some of these teams post week one, where they go from here.
Who'd you guys go after? I heard some of that, but I didn't hear you really dive in on anybody and say, whoop, whoop, panic time.
Well, I mean, we've talked so much about the Raiders. I think we're going to give them a break for the rest of the week. But yeah, the panic time I think came with, and I'm going through them now. I mean, I thought that surprisingly the Jets, not panic time, but in that division, they're going to have to figure things out quickly. Quickly. And Chris kind of highlighted, I don't know why it kind of flew under the radar for me, but yeah, just how bad the Cardinal situation is. Did you see Kyler Murray's quote?
No.
Saying they were asked why he only targeted Marvin Harrison Jr. a handful of times. And he said, basically, that's not my job. That's whatever the OC's name is. It's his job, which is just terrible.
It must be hard for Kyler playing a sport where everyone's bigger than him. What do you think?
Wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know.
Tough. I really do think my honest answer would probably be the Raiders. I'm really concerned that I just really don't believe in that offense even a little bit.
Chris, what about the team that you guys beat?
Yeah, I mean, they also looked horrible.
The uniforms looked horrible.
The uniforms were the worst part. That's probably 90% of the reason why they lost. I mean, you can't wear those and expect to win anything. I definitely think they're in for a long season. Their running back situation is just as bad as, if not worse than the Raiders. And there is definitely a case that they could be the worst team in football. I mean, there's no reason to think the Giants really offensively are going to figure anything out. Even giving the ball to Malik Neighbors, I don't think, I just don't think there's really much path for that offense to be even decent.
And he's had some questionable quotes, Malik Neighbors. I will say, Chris, Zamir White, a lot of people are high on Zamir White.
Yeah, Alexander Madison had more touches than him on Sunday.
He had a rough game.
Yeah.
But, I think that the Giants
people are very high on him.
I think the Giants are in a worse situation than the Raiders. For sure.
I would probably say so as well. I just really think that the Giants, it's more obvious and everybody acknowledges that the Giants are not going to be good. I think there's still this false hope that Antonio Pierce is going to turn things into a success.
As long as he wears cool jackets, you can figure it out. And then obviously it goes without saying the Panthers. I think the Panthers are in the worst situation.
Yeah, everyone was excited about their new coach, Bryce Young. And the one advantage I would say the Raiders have over the Giants is the Giants have committed to a quarterback and he's terrible, and the Raiders haven't committed to a guy yet to be their next quarterback. That's not something you hang your hat on, but
well, yeah,
their guy's terrible. We don't have a guy, so we're in better shape.
Yeah. Whitey, as far as the Panthers are concerned, do you think Bryce Young makes it past this season as the Panthers QB?
Yeah.
You think so?
Sure. And they're committed to him. And he hasn't had a lot around him. Why not?
He's just not good.
I mean, remember how long the Jags stuck with Blake Bortles?
Oh,
yeah, but that guy, UCF guy, he won some big games.
Went to an AFC championship game.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He almost beat the Patriots.
He almost beat the Patriots.
For the AFC championship.
Absolutely insane.
There are a bunch of guys they were guys. I mean, Blake Bortles.
They were guys.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, he had some injuries. But you know what? Blake Bortles had some time where he was a guy. Mitch Trubisky had some time where he was a guy.
I feel like we are stretching the term "the guy."
Yeah, that means
really,
for
Mitch Trubisky, they would have won a playoff game. The guy, he shanked the field goal, or he shanked the field
double
goal.
doink. Yeah,
he's a playoff winner in my opinion.
I don't think anybody ever was on the Mitch Trubisky hype train though.
Not even
ACC,
not even his mom.
guy.
I don't think so. He won the MVP, the Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player for
ACC
that game,
guy.
Were you ever a big Johnny Manziel guy?
I was.
Were you
in college?
Yeah, I was.
Once I got to the pros,
I was. You know who I never? Well, here's a question for you, and they're actually from the same class, but I'm not going to go in the Mariota realm. Jameis Winston, just real quick, as the sun is setting on summer. Let's end it with a very summer type conversation of bust or not a bust. Is Jameis Winston a bust or no?
Yes.
Because a lot of people say no.
Okay, who and why?
Because he did start for a number of years. I think he's right there on the line. I think it depends on what you expect from a number one pick.
Number one pick who's a backup.
But I think the problem, I think the problem is there's so many picks that ended up worse than Jameis. Now you're talking level of bust. And I think to me,
then that's not denying he's a bust.
I don't know if I think
he's
right there.
The category.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, he's the number one pick. If you're the number one pick in the draft, like at the very least, be a starter be a Phillip Rivers. Like, be a good long starter for your team.
With the Bucs?
Yeah, Alex Smith or something.
Yeah, I mean, even Alex Smith, I think if there was a year there where I think everybody would have said it was a bust, but he ends up, having a pretty respectable Niner career and then ends up having a decent career with the Chiefs as well. Jameis, he even when he was starting and when he was quote unquote good for the Bucs, he had that infamous 30 for 30 season where he threw 30 touchdowns and 30
He's
picks.
a gunslinger.
Yeah, 30 picks is insane.
Remember when Carson Wentz was really good?
Yes.
MVP
yes,
candidate.
that was a cool 6 months, and then he got hurt, and then,
he was never
the rest
the
is
same.
history.
I do feel like Bryce Young might be the last of the breed of, okay, you were the best. And they don't do this all the time, which is why I was really surprised they even did it with Bryce Young, and he didn't do anything at the combine. That's when Backpack Bryce started, is getting the guy who, all right, we think you're the guy because you won a lot in college and you have some of the measurables. So I guess we'll take you number one over a CJ Stroud. And I don't know if I'm sure you remember, Whitey, the CJ Stroud, he didn't test well on whatever that test was. And they decided to go with them. Yes. And now I feel like Bryce Young might be the last of, we don't really care what you did in college anymore. I mean, we care, but we're going to just stick with, I think Sean Payton talks about it. I'm not taking a quarterback. I'm not taking a smaller quarterback top 5 over. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
If I were running an NFL team, which, I'd rather do this. That's the only reason I'm not. But if I was running a team and we had a number 1, number 2 pick, the only way I would pick a quarterback there, because so many guys, teams miss and it sets them back for years. My scouts would have to tell me, I guarantee you 100% this guy's going to be great. No one can do that, but I would be very reluctant,
what
because
if you needed a quarterback, though?
Well, that's what happens. Teams, I need a quarterback. That guy's the best quarterback. Here we go. Let's give him tons of money. Oh, he wasn't that good.
Well, how many times now have we seen these can't miss number 1 quarterbacks to even that point? Like, how many of those people would have told you Trevor Lawrence cannot miss? You should not miss this guy. Even somebody as confusing as a career of like Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, I don't think he's a bust, but like, did he live up to the expectations in which were probably set? I don't think so. He made it to the playoffs a lot. He was a top 5 quarterback, maybe at his peak, but he was not the head and shoulders best quarterback of the generation, like I think a lot of people thought he was as a prospect.
I think part of it too is the expectations that you addressed. They're just way
too high.
Yes,
you have to be one of the best
in that
of all
situation.
Time.
Yeah. I sat down on Sunday ready to see some rookies really spin it.
Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes 1 and 2, right?
And then
Jaden Daniels.
They're rookies. Yeah. They all look like rookies. But what I'm saying,
Jaden Daniels played well.
He did play well. But what I'm saying is Bryce Young got picked ahead of CJ Stroud, I do think, because of his pedigree in college. Even though CJ Stroud's pedigree was right there, right? I think that after this debacle, people now more than ever are going to go with tools over the.
I think it goes in cycles.
You think it goes in cycles?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's going to be, I'm sure that's the next cycle, as people will say, I'd much rather take an Anthony Richardson than a guy who wins a ton in college. But at some point there, you're going to have a ton of guys who have a bunch of tools, and then they don't work out. And then people are going to say, you know what's great? Taking guys who you know what they are, the pedigree, hey, he's a winner in college, he'll probably be a winner in the pro.
Bryce was supposed to be Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's great. The 49ers kind of lucked into him. I think Dak's an excellent quarterback. The Cowboys lucked into him. They wanted Paxton Lynch, and they didn't get him. So, let's take this guy in the fourth round.
Yeah, fourth round.
Well, you got to be lucky.
Yeah, and Bo Nix, if it wasn't for Sean Payton, given the okie doke, Raiders would have got Bo Nix, the next Bronco great. They got the next John Elway out there in Denver. All right, another great show. Congrats to Amid Rock, our winner. We will see Amid Rock September 21st at the Thunder Valley Showdown with Amari Jones, and maybe we'll see you. We're still giving away tickets tomorrow and Friday. Thank you to Nate. Thank you to all the callers, the texters, and the sack chatters. The Drive guys are up next with Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, light the beam.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?